Ahoy, landlubbers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking, and welcome to another stream. This time is Friday. We're almost over this whole September thing. I'm pretty over it, to be honest with you. It's Friday, September 27th, 2024. Always important to date the stream as long as I'm thinking of it. Yeah, lately I've been like doing some extra meandering before starting recording, but Keen uh, in chat was letting me know that they'd heard a cover of Murder on the Dance Floor by Royal Otis, which started making the rounds as far as I know, like toward the start of this year. I mean, obviously, there was like a big resurgence in popularity for the song Murder on the Dance Floor when it appeared in the movie Saltburn. But for those of you who don't know, Murder on the Dance Floor was originally performed and recorded by perhaps my favorite musical artist of all time, Sophie Ellis Bextor, who, very fortunately for me, I managed to see in concert for the first time ever this year because she lives in Europe, and so like normally that's a challenge. But because of the popularity of Saltburn, she dropped a couple of like U.S. tour dates earlier this year, and one of them was in San Diego, which I was a mere like I don't know how long is that drive, like 6 hours or something. It's a while. It's a drive. And then I had this move happening where I was moving to Florida from California, and after that was more or less set in stone, she was like, "Oh, I'm doing more American tour dates." And now I'm like making a stop in Los Angeles in September. I'm like, oh man, that sucks because in September I won't be in Los Angeles for the first time in like 10 years, not even more than that. But then, like, randomly this week, I saw on Twitter she was like, I can't forget Florida and Georgia, so I'm making more tour dates. I'm like, she's really trying to do me a solid here. I really appreciate that. So now I have to run some logistics on that, but like that's definitely close enough to happen, and I'm excited about that. Thank you, Demolition, for the gift subs. Demolition seems to have ascertained something about the current Twitch promotion. He has read the tea leaves or something. Welcome, Anime. Welcome, Kronos. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This is how the bot doesn't get the channel regulars. Is it just because all the channel regulars are covered now? It's honestly hard to tell. Well, no, I guess Kronos doesn't currently have one. Oh, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Yeah, every 5 gifts, it gives an additional one. That's fun. But yeah, that the brief. I don't know. I think it's really funny how the concerts are following me. All the European artists I love are just really intent on converging now. I actually just saw on Twitter like minutes ago that another one of my favorite bands of all time, Confidence Man, who I know I've talked about on here before, did a collaboration with Kylie Minogue, and I'm like, how's that even possible? What is going on? Thank you for gifting a sub to Chronos Demolition. That is the crux of my mistake, but thank you nonetheless for your generosity. It has been a week of ups and downs for me. So that was good news, the concert thing. Got some really deeply frustrating news on, what was it, like Tuesday? So I've refrained from going into this because I genuinely don't think it's a very interesting story, but I'll give you the cliff notes, I guess, just for context. So earlier this year, I paid off a 5-year loan on my current car, which I now, well, I paid it off. Do I own it? Stay tuned. So, I paid a large deposit and then, like a relatively modest loan so that I could keep payments manageable in, my income bracket or whatever. And, at the time that got paid off, they were like, something to the effect of like this is a notice to let you know that you must confirm your address before we will send you your title because this is a thing that happens, right? For those of you who don't drive or aren't in the U.S. or whatever, I think this much is pretty standard around the country, which is you like if you use a loan to buy a car, then like the company who like issued the loan or whatever has their name on the title, which is like the deed to your car. And when you pay it off, they're supposed to send you the title so that you can like take it to the proper authorities to have that re-registered, so it's just you and they're not on it anymore because you have paid the loan in full and they no longer have any claim to the vehicle. And so they were like, yeah, you must confirm your address before that happens. And this was like a little bit before the craziness of the move started, but like I just, with stuff in the mail, you just don't know how long it's gonna take. And there was some like travel and stuff going on in the time leading up to then, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait until I'm on the other side and have them mail it when I have a concrete address, like a specific place that I know I can trust stuff to go to. And so like I forget the exact date, like I think it was like the start of this month or the end of August. I like reached out to the loan company and I was like, hey, so I was like given this notice that I should provide you my address so that you can send me this thing. What is the process for doing that so I can get the thing? And they're like, we sent it already. And I'm like, you did not send it because I don't have it. And they were like, yeah, we just decided to send it to the address we have on file. And then they proceeded to read to me my address in California -1. Now, let me tell you that addresses are a fairly specific thing. And so if you're off by 1, it doesn't get where it's going. It gets somewhere else. Now, this is frustrating. They specifically gave me instructions and I followed them, and as usual, was punished. I'm a stickler for rules, and gosh, everyone always makes the rules so hard or impossible. Don't love that about the world. So they're basically like, yeah, you got to contact the California DMV. They'll give you a new title. It's fine. Except I contact the California DMV and they tell me that like, oh, the loan company never cleared the lien from your vehicle, which means as far as we're concerned, it still belongs to the loan company and you can't do anything about that. So then I go back to them and I'm like, hey, so you never cleared the lien, which is garbage because I've paid off the loan. And I need you to tell the California DMV that I've paid off my loan so I can have my car. And they were very resistant to this idea, which is extremely annoying because I've already paid them quite a lot of money. It's the whole point of the arrangement. I'll spare you the details because it really starts getting pedantic. Thank you, Demolition, for... Somehow I feel like you single-handedly launched that hype train. I guess technically you did and technically you didn't because you had gifted that sub to Keen already, and I think it was the power of teamwork that got us there. What is this emote? It's like a chef, and oh, it's like a salt pinch or something. Also, hello, Cotillion, welcome. Yeah, it feels like it could be a finable offense, right? Just like sending important stuff the wrong place. So anyway, we reach a point where the company who I paid all of the money requisite to have my car doesn't want to clear the lead on my car, and the DMV won't do anything about it until they do. So they decide that after like 3 additional phone calls and just like an asinine amount of back and forth, they're like, fine, like we'll have our notary who only comes in like 1 time a week, like formalize a document that we'll send to you that says that you paid off your loan. I'm like, can't you just like call the DMV? Like you literally professionally like deal with titles. It's like it's stuff that they do on a regular basis. Can't you just tell them to like stop it? You it's like your job. I'm so frustrated with the sentiment. It's like your job, because I can't tell you how many times in the past like 5 months like something that shouldn't be a huge problem has become an absolute train wreck. Um, and so I did receive that notarized document in the mail here because they didn't get the address wrong by one. It's funny how that works. And unfortunately, that did take like 9 days or something all told to get that. But I got that, and then I like followed instructions that the DMV had given me previously to like go online and like submit this document and then like request a title transfer from them and me to just me. But then I find out that there's like problems with their website. And again, I'll spare you some details, but like there's like a lot of problems with their website. Like they won't really acknowledge them until you call them like 8 times, but there's like a lot of problems with the California DMV website. Like it just is not good. And I know all the cliches and like haha a joke, but like it's not funny. It's really unbelievably annoying. Cause like this stuff is really important. Like it's really important that this work. So I like literally had to like I mean I've called the California DMV like so many times in the past month. Like I don't know, like practically every other day I'm on the phone with someone there. And like the majority of them like don't know what they're doing, even though again, it's like their job. So like after like several calls and like lots of misinformation, I finally like annoy this guy who's not particularly competent into like going to his supervisor with this. And then after like a fairly long hold, he comes back and he's like, okay, here's what you have to do, and basically like tells me a specific way that I can cheat the system, like literally circumvent the rules that they put in place so that I can submit this document in the first place so that I can go through the process of transferring the title. Because like with the lien on my car, they won't let me submit the paperwork that would clear the lien from my car, which makes so much sense. It's very clear that this would be the way this works. It's so smart and good and not horrendously miscalculated. And then, you know, after like several days that gets reviewed and they're asking me for like paperwork that doesn't apply to what I'm doing because they didn't read my case file. And then I explain that to them, and after like another several days, someone gives me like one of the most confusing set of instructions I've ever read that's like less than 2 sentences long. It's just like one run-on sentence that doesn't make any sense. And then like finally on Tuesday, I had like just the nastiest, most unpleasant people on the phone from the DMV. And like honestly, like considering how much they've put me through, I swear to you that I was pretty polite and upbeat and like not harassing them in any realistic sense of the word. This one woman insisted I kept cutting her off because she kept trying to explain to me stuff I had demonstrated to her I already understood at least as well as she did, and she'd keep going on these long rants. And it's like, no, I'm trying to get something done. You're forcing me to call during work hours. I have work to do. I can't just sit here politely and listen to you be wrong for a really long time. Like, I know that sounds rude, but like you're also being rude to me trying to waste my time, not listening to me and acting like you know more than I do. Because I have a specific question and you're like not letting me get to it because you think you're so much smarter than me. When like really I could probably do your job better than you. How many times I've had to call already in the past month. So even though they were horrible, they finally gave me a really important piece of information that has taken me like 15 phone calls to obtain. And with that, as of this afternoon, like a month later, there's finally demonstrable progress. Like I've been in limbo on this for so long. And it's not done. I can't stress enough that it's not done. But we reached a point where they've started to process my request, which is like all I wanted like 4 weeks ago when I found out how stupid the situation was to begin with. That sucks. I mean, I'm glad that progress has been made, but like, oh my God, it's so horrible. On a similar note, this Monday, my parents and I finally got our driver's licenses in the new state. considerably less horrible process. Inexplicably confusing setup that in the state of Florida, to get a driver's license, you go to a tax collector's office. It functions very similarly to a DMV, but it's definitely not a DMV. It's a very weird place, but it works a lot more efficiently than any DMV I've ever been in, including in California. You could go to a branch of the Automotive Club of America. What does the third A and AAA stand for? If you have a AAA membership, you can go into one of their many offices in California and just take care of like most basic DMV related tasks. And like those are reasonably efficient, but this weird Florida tax collector office, like way better. So that was good. The other like major, yeah, you know what? I think it's the Automotive Applesauce of America. That sounds correct. The last major thing of note this week that is coming to mind is the landscaping. So when I was first looking at this property, it had been, you know, reasonably carefully maintained to a point that like it wasn't clear necessarily what the whole scope of the lawn was. And between the many week process of getting the mortgage and then like doing the move in and various setup stuff, like the lawn started growing kind of long and I hadn't had a chance to make arrangements. And my mom has been very gracious with her time to help me set that up because I've been so focused on this miserable DMV thing. And so like she found this like really highly rated guy, and he was supposed to come in on Wednesday to like mow the lawn and give me an estimate on some changes, because the lawn's in this weird inconsistent state where like it has a bunch of like clover in some parts, which I really like. This is just sort of aesthetically nice. It doesn't grow super tall. It doesn't require a lot of maintenance. But then there's also just like these like weird, dense kind of like vine things growing in some places. And also just this like really horrible grass in a couple areas that just like grows dense and tall and weird. And like, I just kind of wanted to become consistent with something that looks nice and like doesn't require a ton of maintenance. I don't know how expensive that'll be, hence me trying to get a quote from like a qualified professional. It's kind of how you got to do anything with the house, which is annoying because you can't budget anything until you've already like committed a bunch of time to like finding people to look at stuff. But so like this guy says like, yeah, I'll come in like really early on Monday. So I have to like get up early and like be ready for that. And then like basically he like no shows. He like, we get in touch with him like late in the morning and he's just like, yeah, nah, even though I like said I definitely had time for this and like scheduled a time, like I think he said like originally like I'll try to get there in the afternoon, and then like didn't say anything before the end of the business day. It's like, that's not a great look. And then I don't know if you know this, for those not watching in real time, hashtag dating this live stream, there was a category 4 hurricane that did sort of go up the coast of Florida yesterday, the west coast of Florida. I'm in like roughly central Florida. So obviously at this point I have survived, and so have all the visible stuffed animals. There was a lot of wind. There was some rain, but like really a lot of wind. Oh, you got hit with the tail end of the hurricane today. I hope you're all right, Jakey. I had a lot of people check in on me, but I'm thankful to say that I am positioned such that the worst of it was there's a tree overhanging the fence on one of my neighbor's properties that got like a big split in it, but it fell sort of away from my house. It did sort of block access to my backyard. And you know, there was there were like a lot of like tree branches that got torn off of trees and thrown around, and the lawn was particularly messy today because the guy didn't come on Wednesday, and then there was like a hurricane, so he didn't come yesterday. And we put a little pressure on him, and he finally showed up today. And that was really his last chance. We were gonna like just not deal with that if he wasn't gonna commit again. But he came and he was like a nice guy, and he was like willing to like go a little bit of an extra mile with like hauling off the tree branches and crap, which it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, like it wasn't a lot in the sense that it wasn't property damage. It wasn't like super scary. It was weird to be in the middle of that, but like it wasn't. We weren't like really in the path of the hurricane or anything like that. Um, but like there was still like mess and stuff, but like the worst of it was mess. There was no real damage, which was good. Um, but like yeah, so guy comes today. He does a really good job. He like really pares down the lawn from like reasonably overgrown to like looks weirdly bare now, which is fine. Um, one thing to note is that the neighborhood cats were really excited about this. Multiple of them who like tread lightly around the property in recent weeks, just like yeah, like I watched one of them literally make the discovery that like the lawn had been mowed, and it was like very surprised and cautious, but like made its way from the backyard to the front yard, and then like sidled up to the big tree over there and just like plopped down and like sat for like 3 hours. And I was like, that's lovely. I like that cat. And I saw like another one came by when I was making dinner. It was just sort of like, what happened here? There are, if you missed it in one of the recent streams, I did recently learn from a neighbor that the previous owner of this house had 17 indoor cats and 17 outdoor cats, and the outdoor cats still remain in the area. He feeds them. So they're out and about, and yeah, I think there is one cat who seems to have really liked the overgrowth from the backyard. I don't know how that one's gonna take it, because I think I took a picture of it, but like there's this like patch in the backyard where like its head like barely poked up out of it, and so it's just sort of like sometimes I like wouldn't notice it like go to its napping spot, and then all of a sudden like cat head would just appear. Um, yeah, but like those are all the anecdotals about the lawn work. We basically it needed some work. We got work. We got there's a bamboo tree that needed to be dealt with because it was really annoying and some other stuff. And he did a great job, but then like I had asked him to provide like a quote on like updating the yard to like a uniform look. And I'm not necessarily completely committed to this revamp that I kind of want to do, but like the only way to know is to like ask for these quotes, right? So like I asked him about it, and then basically he just like dismisses like the main crux of what I want out of hand, and then like tries to sell me on something I don't want, and I'm like, it's a bad start, my guy. Like, you got off to a weird start, and then you did a good job and impressed me, and now you come back around to, like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to provide you with, like, a lot of work, my guy. I want to pay you a lot of money, but you're making it really hard. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think at the very least, there's a good shot that this guy is not the one to do the big project, assuming that does happen. But I'm still willing to hear him out if he remembers to send me a quote. I don't know if I could be bothered to hound him over that. But then again, my mom has had to do most of this communication because, again, I've really been focused on this miserable project with the California DMV. Just awful. Just 4 tens of cakes. Yeah, I mean, it's saying something that Neko hears the number of cats that were in this house and, like, is more concerned than not, which is something I conveyed to, like, my dad. I was like, yeah, I like, mentioned the thing I found out about the cats, and Neko was, like, concerned. And I'm like, I feel like that takes commitment. Lived through a major hurricane in 96, Jakey. I mean, I don't know. I've been in like a moderately sizable earthquake. I've never I wasn't in like the Northridge quake in the 90s, obviously. I didn't move to California until 2009. Got some like blizzards in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is relatively temperate. Of course, nothing is really temperate these days. Um yeah, I mean, I don't know that I've really been through something like hurricane. I mean, obviously there was one nearby sort of this week, but as I said earlier, not really in the direct path of it. What's the project? Basically, when when the lawn grew out while I was trying to take care of some other stuff and getting the house set up, I found that it was like, it's not a consistent type of grass or plant of any kind. There's like 3 or 4 different types of stuff that like create like a weird tableau that I'm not thrilled with. And I have some hopes of trying to make it uniform in a certain way. And yeah, this guy we got to do the work today was like not really super receptive to that plan, even though it's my plan and I'm the guy who would be paying for it and all that. Yeah, anyway, that's all the TV there is for boring homeowner stories. I know you all asked for it. I mean, didn't ask for it, but it's been kind of an eventful week. Like, a lot happened, but like at the same time, like, boy, I bet it's dull. So why don't we go ahead and play a video game, shall we? In fact, why don't we perhaps play the Blackwell Convergence? That was almost a seamless transition. And I don't mean my awkward pause there. I mean, I still saw the underside of the game capture peeking through. That's true. I did finally... This is an even more boring story, so I'll keep it really condensed. In order to buy a home, you must be able to insure the home. I had an insurance agent kind of put a rush job on it because some of the renovations that the seller of this house had to do to make it sellable / buyable, they took like a really long time for, and there's like a clock when you set mortgage processes in motion. So like really needed that to come through in a short amount of time, but like the insurance agent who was like managing that was like, yeah, so like someone like goofed up and like didn't give you credit for like paperwork you gave us immediately and like multiple times when requested. So like your rate is like higher than it should be. And then, you know, like once things were a little bit settled, that was like one of the earlier calls I made was like, hey, so like I provided you that paperwork, could you go ahead and fix that? And she's like, oh yeah, definitely. And then, like, after a week, she was like, oh, it turns out they still won't take it. And I don't know why. And I'm like, that's not a good answer. You should tell me why that is so we can fix it. And then ultimately ended up replacing the entire roof, which with the Category 4 hurricane just coming through here feels like probably a good investment to have done that. Yeah, I like let her know that, and I provided the paperwork that was required. And then she asked me for something that seemed superfluous and weird, but I gave her that too. And then like a week passed, and I was like, hey, like you still haven't, as far as I know, fixed that. And we've talked about this many times, and I've given you everything you've asked for. And then she like finally like gave me my like adjusted rate. No like paperwork to prove that or anything, which would be super nice, but really I've given up on having standards for anything because everyone's made everything super difficult. The Blackwell Convergence. So for those of you who may have missed it, we've been playing the Blackwell games over recent weeks. There's a series of point-and-click adventure games. The first one was made in 2006, 2007? I've already forgotten. One of those. And basically it tells the story of a family of women who have the gift of communicating with the dead and the curse of a constantly present, old-timey, kind of misogynistic ghost named Joey, who probably died in like the late 20s or early 30s. Not his late 20s or early 30s, the 1920s or 1930s. And basically the first story tells of someone in the modern day, the early 2000s, coming into these powers when her aunt, the previous beneficiary of Joey, the ghost, passed away, and then he passed on to her. And, you know, it's just kind of an introduction to that. It doesn't have, like, a ton in the way of story, although the devil shows up briefly and isn't really mentioned again, even though it seems important. And then the second game, which we played like a couple weeks ago into last week, travels back in time to her aunt, the one who previously had Joey as a spirit companion, and tells the story of a night where she encountered like a a rogue spirit medium who had lost the ability to communicate directly with the spirits because she lost her sort of companion, and as a result, like, formed some, like, weird busted psychic connection with some guy. And anytime he, like a journalist, wrote about a person's life, she was like, got it, I'm gonna go murder him and make him into a ghost because that's what I'm supposed to do. So the aunt ended up killing the murderer lady, the Countess. But then last week we started playing Blackwell Convergence, and after another, like, routine medium mission of helping a spirit move on to the afterlife, sometimes against their will for some reason, we found evidence once more of the Countess. She has returned as a ghost after, like, a few decades, and Joey's really the only one who can appreciate that because he was there the last time she was around. But we don't really know exactly what it means for her to be back as a ghost, or what her plans are, or various things. And that leads us to now. I don't really know where we're going from here. But luckily, I have only spoken for 40 minutes continuously, so there's plenty of time to figure this out. Load game Hobbitses. For a second, I thought that was supposed to be a shower sound effect, but I assume that's rain. Now that I've talked for a really long time, feel free to hit me up in the chat with what ups and downs are going on in your life, and what weird ways cats are reacting to the ever-changing landscape that is your life. Hey, wait, how are we doing on music? I don't think I've ever gotten, like, a firm answer on whether these games remember the audio settings. That looks like okay music levels. Does that sound okay? Let me talk to Joey for a second for scale.
Hey, Joey?
What could it possibly be?
My name is Ouija Board. Thank you once again, Demolition, for a 6-month gift sub to Neko. That's also just lapsing. I went to the Chester Zoo yesterday. Were there cats there reacting strangely, Neko? Oh yeah, part of our discovery was we just helped, at the end of the last room, we just helped an actor named Frank Lyons, like, move on. He died of mysterious circumstances while shooting romantic comedy, which I found very peculiar. And as we were, like, leading him toward the light or whatever, he's like, oh, it's so weird that some lady called the Countess choked me to death. Bye, I'll never talk to you again! So, like, now we're, like, trying to figure that out. Monique Stahlman was his boss, who also has inherited his black cat, who I think is a witch's familiar. I think she might be a witch. And then the Joe Gould Fund is some weird thing where that Frank Lyons guy seemed to have, like, a split personality, and we were, like, talking to two ghosts at once, and one of them was, like, directing us to this, like, old, like, popular actors bar or something, and it had this story of this broke actor who was claiming to raise money for charity that was obviously just he was broke as crap and wanted a drink. Which is a weird plot point to have as, like, one of our few interactable conversation options. It says, to be honest, a person from the account team gave me and my teammate a panic. And they sent a message to us that implied we were late to get somewhere when we were not. Oh, I hate stuff like that. I hate any time that someone tries to, like, blame you for something that's just, like, definitely not your fault. It's very provocative in a negative way. I guess there's a lot of her photos from her trip to the zoo weren't animals in the zoo, but bunnies that found their way into the elephant enclosure. What were they doing in there? Were they just, like, swarming the elephants?
I know he's dead and all, but this is kind of cool. I've never met anyone famous before.
Just don't ask him for an autograph.
Wait, the takeaway from me having a conversation with Joey about Frank Lyons, who was choked to death, and reintroduced the concept of the Countess, is that it's cool to meet a celebrity. I'm not sure we're all paying attention to the gravity of the situation. Plan our next
So
move.
what should we do now?
I told you, that gallery has a painting of the Countess on the wall. We should go and check it out.
It's like, it's a painting.
That's all
That's
for now.
fine.
Sure.
I'm tweaking the audio a little bit because the dialogue seemed low. I don't know if that
Not
does
rooting
that.
through my trash. I threw that stuff away for a reason.
This seems okay. Let me know if you want me to adjust it. It's tough. I wish I had sliders. I miss sliders. And normally when I say that, I mean the TV show, although it really went downhill at the end. But also in this case, just like sliders to adjust audio would be super good. Bunnies were coming up to the elephants and playing in the dirt mounds around them. I'm not sure that was dirt. Good news, the Black Rock Shooter collab event in a mobile game I like is finally stateside. Man, that's exciting. Hey, I'm all for things that are finally stateside. See the way I started that rant by talking about Sophia Spector coming to Florida, of all places. You're not wrong, Neko. We do know that the creators of this game don't want us to hear the voice acting that they spent a lot of effort to put in. A fan of the music can tell you, I'm not surprised. The music, like I did a really brief summary of my experience playing these first 3 Blackwell games, and to be honest, the first one I thought was like okay, but kind of rough around the edges, not super inspiring, but like kind of a proof of concept. The second one I genuinely kind of just didn't like. It had a lot of flaws and not a lot of strengths. This game is a big improvement from my experience with it so far, and even though like the atmosphere of the other 2 is pretty strong, even the music in this one is a step up. Which isn't to say it was bad in the other ones, but like it's especially good here, I think. Let's go to that art gallery and like progress.
You ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
We're only like 46 minutes into the stream or something. One of these days they're gonna let me in the trash room, which is what I call my bedroom. That's true, we didn't get to hear much music because we broke. Hey, I didn't break it. I just find all the bugs in the games. Like in the second Blackwell game, Blackwell Unbound, when I somehow caused all of the characters in a scene to become like white ghost silhouettes, even though only one of the 3 of them was a ghost. To the gallery.
There. It's her. I knew it.
It's not much of a proof of concept when you're the only person who's seen her
This isn't a
before.
coincidence. Stupid old hag. We'll find you. Just see if we don't.
Definitely looks like the woman from the other night, but she looks sad.
It's because she's not doing enough killing.
It's just a lighthouse. I wonder which one.
Seems like a weird question to ask. Not like a completely inappropriate question or anything, but like just doesn't strike me as like the first question I have about a painting of a lighthouse.
Definitely looks like the one. I'd better not touch it. I'd better not.
There's not a lot to do here. I guess we can ask her about it.
Hi, Josie. Can I talk to you for a bit more?
I'm kinda swamped, but okay.
No, but also yes.
I'd like to know more about that painting there.
Oh, the Dark Lady. It's different than his other paintings. I'm worried the investors won't like it, but Claude insists. What do you want to know?
Investors? How can I get me some of
You
them?
mentioned something about investors.
Oh yes, the Meltzer Foundation. They paid for everything. The renovation, the lights, everything. I've got to pay them back eventually, of course, but still.
That feels like a really weird line to draw. They paid for everything, even the lights. I mean, like, not my number one thought about, like, a space that's clearly meant for commercial something. I feel like there were probably lights in here to begin with, but okay. So, somehow, like, the Meltzer Foundation is, like, a perfect, like, fictional name for an organization that grants a lot of money. I mean, look, the ceiling is cool, but I'm not sure that the part that actually looks interesting is considered the lights.
What can you tell me about the Dark Lady?
Well, it's different, isn't it? Claude's work is mostly abstract, but this is actually of a specific subject.
Did Claude ever say why?
No, but she's definitely striking.
Did he say something about being haunted by her?
Scars.
Claude gets weird when I ask who she is or why he put her in front of the Roosevelt Island Lighthouse. I figure it's just one of those eccentric artist things.
The Roosevelt Island Lighthouse, huh? It's been a while since I've been over there.
Well, it's convenient of her to just call that out, but it answers that one burning question we had. Where's Claude?
Where can I find Claude?
Knowing him, he's probably preparing for tonight.
Preparing?
You know, glug glug.
He's hitting the sauce.
Ah.
I thought there might be like index cards involved. You said your favorite art in the museum is the ceiling and you stand by it. I don't disagree. I'm not huge on abstract art myself, and the ceiling is pretty cool. But as you pointed out earlier, the grapes aren't edible, so I think that makes them art? Is that how that works? Tell me more about the Meltzer Foundation.
Can you tell me anything about the Meltzer Foundation?
Oh, those guys are a godsend. Without them, I never would have been able to open this place. I presented them with my plan for the gallery, and poof, they wrote me a check.
That's pretty generous.
I never
Pretty
thought it was
suspicious.
venture capital material, but go figure. I'll have to pay them back, of course, and give them a percentage of our income. But look around. It's my life's dream realized.
Pretty sure I already asked her about the Joe Gould
Have you ever
Fund.
heard of Joe Gould or the Joe Gould Fund?
No, sorry.
The opposite of a godsend. Hey, do you know anything about Frank Lyons being choked to death by a woman named the Countess who's depicted in a painting in front of a lighthouse directly next to us in your
Do
gallery?
you know anything about Frank Lyons' death?
Spooky, isn't it? Imagine someone just dying of a heart attack right in front of you. Poor Monique must have been traumatized.
Yeah,
Looks like-
traumatized all the way to the bank.
Looks like we don't default to correcting her despite knowing more information about this. Did we feel good about the audio levels? Such as I can adjust them, which
Thanks,
is limited.
Josie. Sure as Angela. I'll see you at the opening tonight.
Oh man, I've been watching this Apple TV Plus show called Bad Monkey, which is really good, by the way. It's a Vince Vaughn vehicle. It's very Vince Vaughn-y, but like in a really good way. Generally a fan. And there's a character in that who goes by Rosa for short, and it's short for a different thing that also doesn't sound like a name. And I'm like, this must be why everyone I've ever known of who has the name Rosa uses the short version, because all the long ones are confusing and weird to me. I think she said her name was like Rosa Bella or something. I'm like, that's not it either. Like, the only person who like could go by Rosa who doesn't is like Rosario Dawson. I think that's fine because Rosario somehow doesn't have the amped up weirdness level of Rosangela. So I guess we're just going to the lighthouse, right? I don't think we're learning anything else here for now.
Here we are. I don't see any ghosts. You sense
I
any?
see one.
Nope, seems clean to me.
Really? You sure?
I said there's nothing here. Well, no ghosts anyway.
Is it bad that when he insisted that there was no ghost here, I wanted him to get hit by like the ghost of a tractor trailer truck? It's like a big old semi in a place where it doesn't even make sense for that vehicle to be driving. Just like the residual spirit of it just runs him over for comedic timing. I said it's clean. Interesting. Oh, did it clear my inventory completely? That
I read
is
a book
weird.
about this place years ago. Nobody uses this lighthouse anymore. It's just a historic monument. I read a book of nobody.
Right and left click are the same, huh? Oh, is it locked? Do I need to send the ghost in?
It's a lighthouse. Don't know who it's for. It's not like any ships come through here.
Not giving me a lot to go with,
It's a
game.
light- don't know-
Okay. Sure feels like there should be something to do here, huh?
Let's talk, Joey.
Uh-huh.
So what should we do now?
Who the heck would invest in a gallery?
Josie said it was funded by the Meltzer Foundation.
I wonder who they are.
Really? You gave me this glaring clue of like a place to go that is like a hideout for the Countess, the lady that we're concerned about being like a murder ghost? And we're like, I wonder who funds art.
So what should we do? Josie...
Meant to end the conversation, but okay. Okay, I guess I should ask the executive producer lady. She seems like she might know about that.
Come in.
Can we regular pet the cat now? I think we can, right?
No. Again?
Cat. Cat.
What does that ID tag of yours say? Ow! Damn it!
Hey, little fella.
He can interact favorably with cat. Ask about the cat, sure.
Thanks, but she's not mine. She was Frank's. Just between you and me, she's not very friendly.
I don't think that's new information. Do you know about the Meltzer
What do
Foundation?
you know about the Meltzer Foundation?
Why? Are you looking for a loan?
Maybe. You deal with them?
Just as long as it's not for a car in the state of California.
Bridge?
That's the one.
I assume they got their money back since the film was such a success.
Not that it's any of your business, but yes, they did.
That was surprisingly unhelpful. Hey, are you willing to admit the fact that the star of that movie you just mentioned having funded was strangled to death by a murder ghost?
I'd like to know the truth about Frank's death.
What do you mean? I told you everything I know.
Not everything. He didn't have a heart attack, did he?
Oh, I love seeing sweat on a pretty girl's brow.
Look, I gave my statement. I don't see why I should tell you anything.
I was talking about wieners.
Anyway, I was talking about wieners. What were the wieners in this context? Or were we actually talking about wieners? Something about being strangled to death? That wasn't very helpful, huh?
What else can you tell me?
Is it rough?
Not really.
Then there you go.
Have you ever heard of Joe Gould or the Joe Gould Fund?
Sorry.
Thanks for the chat.
Sure.
Well, that wasn't very helpful. I guess we could talk to the bartender. He's sort of art adjacent. Also, he is effectively like the last person to talk to. Oh, hey, it's Claude! Wow, when she said he was probably drinking, that was apparently a cue to go to like the only bar that we know of, because obviously that's the place he would go instead of like drinking in his own home or with friends or with like any other one of the large number of bars in New York City. But he turns out to be here. That's great. Had 10 random bits and decided to use them. Well, thank you for using them here, Anime. Greatly appreciated. And when are we not talking about wieners, to be fair? Hello, Claude.
Claude?
If that is a real name.
Blackwell, the writer. Come on over. Have a drink.
You remember me?
He looks like he has pink eye.
Down 3 glasses of claret in half an hour.
I kind of like this approach that this game has taken, where like it's pretty traditional for like an old school adventure game to like not really have your choices matter for much. They'll rarely even go to the trouble of like presenting an illusion of choice. Historically, these games are like very linear is really the main point. But like early in this game, you can basically choose whether you want to like go home early after attending this like art event at that gallery we were at before, or if you can like stay and party all night. And if I decided to like stay and be social because like the game seemed to be suggesting that the character like needed to get out more, and when that didn't happen for our relatives, they got committed to like mental hospitals. So I was like, sure, we'll give that a shot. And now like basically every time we meet like a new character, they're like, oh my god, like you drink so much. And I'm really curious what like the other version is, but I do really like the idea of just like putting in a choice that matters like a little bit, but like not very much. And Unavowed actually did this too. Unavowed early on sort of let you pick a backstory, and then it would change the way you would interact with like one of the stories, and also would occasionally let you like try to relate to a character you had to convince of something by like specifically using your background instead of just using like stock answers that all characters could use. It was an interesting system, and I can see how this is like a predecessor to that. Hey, tell me about this painting of a murder
I
ghost.
really like that painting of yours, the Dark Lady.
My paintings aren't meant to be liked. They are meant to be understood. But nobody does. I feel like Joe Gould sometimes.
No one feels like Joe Gould, you goon. Are your drinking habits as severe as
Really
mine?
to be drinking.
Says the woman who had to be carried home the other night by an old Indian lady. My opening
We've
is
all been
tonight,
there.
And I intend to be well and truly plastered. It's the only way I'll be able to bear it.
Maybe you just shouldn't go.
I'd like to talk to you about your work.
I'd love to, but I'm not drunk enough.
I'd really like to know more about the Dark Lady.
I have a rule.
You will not
I don't
respond
talk
well to
about
that.
my work unless I'm drunk enough.
How drunk is that?
I'm not sure, but I'm working on it.
Boy, this guy seems like a lot of fun. Hey, you know about Joe Gould and the Joe Gould Fund?
You know about Joe Gould.
Sure I do. He was one of the city's last geniuses. Or maybe
Would
he
we
was
say
just
that?
nuts. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nuts too. Either way, he's famous now. Thanks to Joseph Mitchell.
Did he just say Joseph Mitchell?
Didn't we kind of know that? Joe told me last night that Joseph Mitchell's writing killed people. According to Claude, he had something to do with making Joe Gould famous. I think that guy's famous.
Could you tell me more about Joseph Mitchell?
Another of the city's great geniuses. Gone. He could talk to you for 5 minutes and then write a biography that made you seem like the most fascinating person alive.
They wouldn't be alive for long.
But then he stopped writing. Nobody knows why, at least not for sure. He
I don't-
published a book about Joe Gould, and then
No one living.
no more writing. He went to his office at the New Yorker every day for 30 years, but never wrote a single word.
I still can't get over the fact that everyone acts like that's a normal thing to happen, and not like just like insanely poor management by the staff of the New Yorker. What about the Meltzer Foundation that funded the gallery that your work is in? Do you have some direct connection there, or?
Can you tell me anything about the Meltzer Foundation?
Those are the guys who are funding Josie's gallery?
Yeah.
You'd have to talk to Josie about them. I just throw colors at a canvas.
And yet you insist your work be understood. Hey, do you know anything about the bar we're standing in? This is why this notebook system comes off as silly sometimes.
You come here often?
Enough. It's old-fashioned, you know.
Do you know anything about an actor who was choked to death by the murder ghost in that painting that you made for the
Do
gallery?
you know anything about Frank Lyons, the actor?
He died a few months ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Never saw his work. Don't go to the movies much.
Bye, Claude.
Yeah.
So, do I have to find a way to get a bunch of money to get this guy drunk? Like classic adventure game problem? Solve someone else's problem so that they solve yours?
Hi there. Got time for some more questions?
Sure, ask away.
Dude, this guy's like overworld. Like image definitely makes him look like a goblin or something, and then like he just looks like a guy with a slightly weird haircut in his like speaking portrait.
Have you ever heard of a reporter named Joseph Mitchell?
No, sorry.
Can you tell me anything about the Meltzer Foundation?
No, sorry.
Sometimes I wonder if this is how people like think actual like detective work or reporting goes. Is you just ask everyone everything, like non-discerningly, and just like hope someone accidentally like tells you the exact information that you need, barely prompted.
Are you sure he was never in here? Maybe it was somebody else's shift.
No, I'm positive. See all those photos on the wall? We take photos of anyone remotely famous who walks in here. So if Frank Lyons came in, we'd have his picture somewhere.
There's nothing but empty.
Progress in the second half of the game seems slow. I don't feel like I know of any character having a connection to Joseph Mitchell that would make asking about him make sense.
Nishanti isn't home.
Neighbor's never home. That's a good neighbor.
There's nothing in here but trash bags. Joey, I'd like to talk to
Uh-huh.
So what should we do now?
Who the heck would invest in a gallery?
Josie...
I really don't know.
That's
Oh,
all
you
for
know
sure.
what? Let's Google. I forgot that we had Google. Because we spent so much of the first case of this game, or whatever, like, not responsibly using Google to immediately solve an obvious problem. Meltzer Foundation. You can find anything online these days. They're located in the financial district. I'm sorry, that was my goal? Hang on, why? Oh, no, I want a real answer to this. Why? I don't feel like we have been presented with a compelling reason that, like, we needed to deeply investigate the Meltzer Foundation. Let alone that we, like, immediately needed to, like, track this place down and, like, go there immediately. It's the phone book again. Oh, yeah. Strictly speaking, the internet predates the phone book, which sounds anachronistic, but what I mean by that is the first game had sort of Google. You had access to this apartment and the computer, and you wouldn't have to manually type stuff in, which is reminiscent of the phone book from the second game. But, like, you know, you would find out stuff, and then you would get, like, a drop-down list of, like, well, I guess you would just, like, plug in your notebook, so, like, stuff in your notebook you could search if you had enough information about it. So, like, technically, we've reverted back to this, which was the proto-phone book. It is the phone book, and it sucks. It's not a great part of this game. I think this is supposed to give us the illusion of interactivity, and this kind of thing was really popular, I think, in, like, Sierra games from the late 80s, but I never really got how this was, like, a benefit. Why would the Meltzer Foundation care about a ghost lady who once haunted a lighthouse? Exactly! Like, the lead we had was, like, figure out more about the Countess and the lighthouse. And we go and, like, find out what, like, the lighthouse was that was associated with her in that painting. And I'm like, well, that's obviously our lead. And then they're like, hang on. Some, like, tangential information was provided about a company that we don't know to be connected to anything. We better investigate that thoroughly. And I'm not saying that this can't be tied to the plot in an important way, but, like, I just feel like we, like, literally missed a step somewhere along the way to making this be a thing that I, the player, think we should be doing or caring about. The only thing you can find online is the address, which, I don't know, there's something weird about... Oh, hang on. No, I apologize. We can't leave yet. Let's go on the internet and look at our webpage. It has this detective bear who's wearing a little tie. It's very good. I forget if we talked about this before. I think this bear is dressed as the like pyromancer from Unavowed, which obviously this came first, but like I think that's basically his outfit. It's like disheveled tie and like trench coat with like fedora or whatever. Is GeoCities or Angel Fire? Considering that we just did an Oogle search, I think it's GeoFire. Also, we have B-mail. Have we gotten email recently? No. These are the same emails we had at the start of the game. Spider-Mans are designed after the Dapper Bear. Almost definitely that, because this game should have come first. I think this is 2011, and Unavowed was 2014? I'm kind of making that up, but that sounds right. Anyway, I guess I'm going to that company for reasons as of yet unclear to me. And yeah, it's good sax, right, Cotillion? It's good sax. Ugh, this guy is a mood.
Yes. Hi. Is this the Meltzer Foundation?
Yes.
Oh, good. I was hoping to ask you a few questions.
No.
Paul, this one's for you.
Oh, sure thing. Come on over and step into my office. So, I'm Paul Meltzer, and my silent partner over there is my brother, Charlie.
Rosangela Blackwell.
A pleasure. So, what can we do for you?
I was hoping to talk to you about what you do.
My name is Ouija Board.
Really? Well, well, well. We're moving up in the world, Charlie.
Uh-huh.
So, Rosangela, you with a newspaper?
I'm sort of freelance.
Struggling, eh? Well, that's what the Meltzer Foundation is all about. Isn't
To
that
increase
right, Charlie?
struggling,
Uh-huh.
to denounce the evils of truth and love, etc., etc. Yeah, but like, what do you do?
I was wondering what you do here.
You know, I wonder that myself.
Always a great
Hey,
response.
Charlie, what do we do here?
We give away money, Paul.
That's right. We're into private investments. We grant risk-free capital to struggling
Rosangela, I know, right? It's been making me crazy this whole time. It just doesn't seem right. Just call her Rosa and go on with your day. I mean, come on. Give away money? Money, please!
You really just give away money?
No, not exactly.
It's about giving money away wisely.
You heard the man. If you want the lowdown on what we do, just ask.
I literally did. Hey, sir, when I came in here, I asked what you did, and you were like, we give away money. And then we were like, wait, like, really? And he's like, no. But if you want to know what we do, just ask. And it's like, no, but I did that. I tried it, and then you said a weird glib thing and didn't tell me the truth. Hey, have you heard of the Meltzer Foundation, a company that you run?
Tell me more about the foundation.
Let's say you have a brilliant idea for a business, but you've made some mistakes in the past. You've got bad credit or were in debt for a long time. No reputable bank in the country would give you a loan. Or if they did, they'd charge you a fortune in interest. But not us. We believe in a second chance. We'll loan you the money to kickstart your business in return for a share of the profit.
Well, there was a website for that.
Wonderful. We both win. If not, we're the one who pays for it.
So he's a loan shark. I do kind of hope that as this conversation goes on, it's clear that this guy's just like an actual like criminal. I think it's intended to come across as closer to Shark Tank. Isn't that more or less the concept of like angel investors, like investors who will invest in things and like not give like a predatory rate because they're themselves invested in the idea of like good things happening for like people they believe in or whatever? Is your policy of giving away money how the guy you're talking to has a job? It's all very confusing. Shark Tank. I think in England it's called Dragon's Den, yeah. But it's like the same concept. Just like rich people hear out business pitches and then will offer to give money in exchange for like a percentage of the company or whatever. His spiel about helping out people with bad credit reminds me, like, it was either like late last week or early this week. I saw someone post like a photo of like their credit score. I don't know if they like photoshopped it or if they just like came across this photo. It was like a credit score of 4, which like, I don't know all that much about credit scores, but like for reference, I think like 500 something is sort of like 550 I think is like an average sort of credit score. That's like an okay credit score, and it like tops out at something like 900 or something. And I've literally never heard of anyone having close to a single digit one, but there was just like a photo of like just like kind of a standard like graphic of like a speedometer kind of scale and like a needle pointing somewhere and then like a number associated with it. It was 4. I'm like, oh my god, what did you do? Did you like destroy the concept of money for an entire nation? The guy says, I doubt I even have a credit score because I've never had a credit card. That's maybe true in Europe. That's not true in the US. You definitely have a credit score like if you exist. It's really messed up. You had a 0 credit score? Wait, how does that happen? Because like I literally don't think you can get to like adulthood without having a credit score. So I don't think it can simply be like the absence of credit score would be a 0. You don't have to answer this question. I'm just curious. Because the 4 really floored me. Like I thought it basically bottomed out at like 50. Had no credit and no bills sent to a creditor. How did you do that? Like, how do you accomplish that task? I mean, like, years ago, for some reason, there was, like, a convergence of people yelling at me for, like, not having a credit score. And so then I just got a credit card and, like, just basically paid for, like, groceries and certain online purchases and then immediately paid them off. And it turns out if you do that, you get a really good credit score. So, like, if you want credit, that's all you gotta do over a moderate time frame. Can't get a credit card without a credit score. There must be some exception to that. I mean, I got my first one through my bank by having, like, a bank account for, like, years. Also, I'm surprised they... Well, no, I guess it makes sense, in a way. It feels weird to depict that at 0, but I kind of understand. Oh, pre-2008 you could. So the recession stopped that? That simultaneously makes perfect sense and is really confusing. How did they expect people to get credit? Man, the credit system's so wonked up, man. It's really stupid. Hey, this guy runs a foundation that gives away money. Does he know about the Joe Gould Fund?
Have you ever heard of Joe Gould or the Joe Gould Fund?
No, sorry.
At least in America, if you have student loans that are in your name, I think that contributes to your credit also. But, like, having debt isn't necessarily bad for your credit. It depends on, like, how you pay it and stuff. It's weird. I actually found out earlier this year that if you have, like, a big outstanding loan, like my car loan, like coincidentally around the time I paid off my car loan, found out that, like, your credit score actually takes a hit when you like, complete a large loan, which is so weird. But, like, it has something to do with the fact that, like, the fact that you have a loan makes you, like, look desirable to people looking to extend credit because it demonstrates that you're good enough to have a loan. Credit is so messed up. The system is really dumb and confusing. Paying a loan off early is bad. I'm sure that looks worse for your credit, inexplicably. Like, it doesn't sound like it should, but, like, it almost certainly does. Because you can't show you can maintain things financially by being financially managed. Yeah, you have to, like, make a record of you spending money that you don't have for people to trust you to spend money correctly is sort of the inherent nature of credit, and it's so confusing to me. Today we're learning adulting with Vasco. I mean, I regret to inform you that, like, the majority of my, like, post-Florida streams have been me, like, mansplaining adulthood in an uninteresting way, and somehow none of you have caught on, which has been working out great for me because I can pretend to be interesting and worldly when in fact I've, like, learned everything through absolute trial by fire. And so far nothing has gone horribly wrong, just many things have gone moderately wrong. A lot of countries in Europe don't use credit scores for rent. I mean, I have the impression that some European countries, like, don't even, like, use credit in a comparable way to the US. Anyway, says the reason why paying it off early looks bad is because it demonstrates they won't make a profit. Yeah, that's probably it. It's just, like, that still sounds inherently confusing, right? Because, like, it seems like the credit score should inherently be a ranking of, like, your ability to be trusted with money through a loan. But, like, it's more corrupt than that. It's so stupid. I don't know that a lot of these are... Well, I guess he knows Monique, right? She said that he funded that movie, Water Under the Bridge.
Monique told me that you invested in CubeStar Films.
Monique, oh yes, she's the executive producer, isn't she?
Yes.
She's doing a great job. That place is earning money hand over fist.
Well, it's a place that made movies, like, pre-Marvel.
Josie Park told me that you invested in her gallery.
You know Josie. How is she doing?
She's fine, I guess.
We're both rooting for her, right, Charlie?
Sure.
I don't think Charlie's rooting for anyone. Probably not even himself. I don't think we already asked this guy about Joseph Mitchell. I don't expect him to have any information, but I might as well ask all these questions.
Have you ever heard of a reporter named Joseph Mitchell?
That name sounds familiar.
He was a reporter for the New Yorker magazine.
Hey, that's it. Charlie used to work there. Hey, Charlie, did you know Joseph Mitchell?
Everyone knew him, Paul. He was a living legend.
A living legend.
How was he a living legend? They paid him to do nothing for like 30 years. What's wrong with everyone? The Emperor's naked, everyone! I think I asked him about the Joe Gould Fund, but I talked about credit for so long I forgot what he said.
Have you ever heard of Joe?
No.
Oh, no.
Have you ever been to a bar called the Minetta?
No.
Frank Lyons was choked to death. Ever heard of
Do
it?
you know anything about Frank Lyons, the actor?
Of course. Can you believe it? A heart attack at his age. He looked healthy. Of course, who knows what kind of drugs those actors take?
This is a continuation of the other game. Yes, so this is the third one in a series. I think you were the one who made the observation before about the phone book. Yeah, so basically the Blackwell games appear to follow the family lineage of the Blackwell family, the women from which have spirit medium powers, and when they're like the next of kin to someone who passes away with those powers, who's been communing with Joey, the gangster spirit, then they pick up the torch. So, like, the second game was Rosangela's Aunt Lauren, and she was the one who first encountered the Countess and Joseph Mitchell and the weird relationship the two of them had. But now that the Countess has reappeared as a malevolent spirit, because she was killed at the end of the second game, we're kind of investigating that right now. Anyway, you may misunderstand. It's not that I, like, disbelieve you. It's just that, I mean, as I said, it just feels like the concept is meant to be a gauge of something meaningful, when instead it's corrupt garbage. So, like, definitely agreeing with your point, but, like, the way you frame it that, like, I'm wrong, like, no, I think I'm correct in that it shouldn't be hot garbage, but it is garbage, which is factually true. Imagine thinking you have business and you get asked unhinged question after unhinged question about unrelated random places and dead people. Yep. Yeah, that's what all of this is like. And like I was musing earlier, it's like, I wonder if some people think that this is how, like, journalism or detective work get done. I think some people do, and I think some people who do those jobs maybe do. I really don't feel like we learned anything useful here, but I think I've already asked him everything. Literally everything. Oh, hang on. For some reason, I now have a new dialogue option.
Became successful after Frank Lyons died.
Did they? I suppose they did.
That benefits you too, doesn't it?
Oh, I see where this is going. What do you expect us to do? Give back the money? We're a private foundation. Money has to come in order for money to go out.
A man is dead.
Someone died. Doesn't that bother you?
Sure, it bothers me. Death is a horrible thing, but I don't see what it has to do with us.
I am not relating to her. I don't know what course of action she expects from a business. I mean, there are definitely ways in which businesses are inherently corrupt, and I'm like, it shouldn't work that way, but, like, this company wasn't responsible for the guy's death. What are they supposed to do about it? What I'm trying to say is capitalism is sort of the reason credit score is the way it is in America. Yeah, I mean, capitalism is the way most of America is America. Which is regrettable, for many reasons.
Well, thanks for talking.
Sure thing. Here, take my card. If you have any questions, just email.
Oh, so
Oh,
you're on
great.
email too.
Isn't everybody?
Oh, this is one of those weird locations that I can't dilly-dally in. And I can't ask that angry guy.
Magic walk? air. She walked right past your desk.
I didn't see any duck.
Never mind.
Stay put, kid. I'm gonna snoop around.
Weird choice, but I'm definitely doing it. What year is this supposed to be?
When are we going to get a real company email address?
What's wrong with the one we've got?
Oh, come on.
So,
Who's going to take us seriously when we only got a B-mail account?
It does the job.
At least we have a real...
is Charlie daft, or I think he's just focused on his angry book. I think the year is supposed to be
Hey, Charlie.
late 2007 or early 2008.
Of course it's safe.
I just read online that they can give you cancer.
It won't give you cancer, Paul.
Then maybe you should sit next to it.
Give it a rest, Paul.
I can't stand this B-mail account.
What's the problem now?
I'm getting all sorts of spam. I got 3 from this Tomo person. Who the heck is Tomo?
Just delete them, Paul.
I can't touch it. Either Paul likes to play, or he wants people to think he does.
Doesn't it bother you that anybody with B-mail software can log into our email?
Only if they have your password, Paul. Just don't tell anybody, and you'll be fine.
I've got no
Strange
idea
device.
what this thing is.
Hey, my
So
internet
funny.
just went down. Stupid wireless.
It should come up again in a minute.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He like interferes with like broadcast signals.
Don't know what I could do with it.
I have the power to like blow on stuff. I don't know why I can't seem to do that on anything.
Modern art job. I don't get it.
Finally, the internet's back up.
Don't you remember anything? It's Tennis 53. Just write it down.
No
I was
way.
trying to look at something, but they were doing more dialogue. Tennis 53. Someone write that down.
Hey, when are we going to get a real company email address?
What's wrong with the one we...
Oh, come on.
It does the job.
At least we have a real internet.
Now they are relentless talkers, huh?
Modern art.
Each
Of course it's sick.
I
It won't
then
give it a...
Well, I think we've heard everything they have to say.
Down there? Man, it's changed a ton since my day.
I can't stand this B-mail.
Let's
I'm getting
just...
What's wrong with female parentheses Gmail? I think it's just supposed to be like a conversation of this era or whatever, where it's like, oh, this hot new thing, Gmail. It seems unprofessional to use this generic email address. Oh, I get it. I understand. They set that up clumsily, but I get it. Tennis 53, right? Someone write that down? It's tennis something 3. Tennis 23? Tennis 30? What was it? It was tennis 53? Hang on. If it wants me to...
Let's go.
Hold your...
You think that box that I skipped through was him saying his username? I didn't realize we were doing a puzzle, and also I was trying to examine the surroundings for information to advance my life.
She's back.
Rosangela.
Wow, he never gets tired of that.
It's her foundation at bmail.com.
Well, thanks for talking.
Okay, bye. Waddle, waddle.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Why do you think she keeps coming here?
Give it a rest, Paul.
Stay put, kid.
Let me just tamper with the internet.
I've no idea what this thing is.
Again, this wireless internet.
It'll come up again in a minute.
Finally, the internet's back up. What's that B-mail password again?
You're impossible. It's Tennis 53.
Yeah, maybe rate it that it's case sensitive.
Doesn't it
But there
bother
doesn't
you
appear to
like
be a
B-mail
username.
All just...
I did fail to observe that it was capital T. Let's go home. Hack the mainframe. Even though normally you would need a username and password, I think for the sake of being a video game, they just want you to get the password, and I think you might be right that it's just case sensitive. Well, let's see. Oh, no. Hold on. He gave me his card. It's supposed to have his email address on it. paulm@bmail.com. My login is just my name, according to the bottom of the screen. Okay, got there. Hi Paul, just a quick letter to let you know that everything is going great. Our new artist is fantastic. I can't wait for the opening tomorrow. You will come, won't you? After all, you made this possible. Josie, the gallery lady. Charles Meltzer. Paul, I'm going to be out of the office next week to meet with the Charming Widow? That's not a real name. That's not what a person is called. Could you do me a favor and check my email while I'm away? If I get anything important, give me a shout. Or are you gonna give him your password? Paul, what do you mean you don't remember my password? I picked it specifically so both you and I would remember it. I'm going to drag you screaming into the digital age if it kills me. From special offer, for all your software and networking needs, contact Tomo. Tomo! Don't be silly, Paul. Of course you can talk to artists. It's not hard. If you're nervous, just Google artists. It will tell you everything you need to know. Josie, Park Gallery Curator. Okay, hold on. What happens if you Google artists? What not to say to an artist? This painting is good. Be more thoughtful. Tell the artist why it's provocative to you personally. What is it? Not all art has to be something specific. Tell the artist what you think it represents. I like the colors. Yours is a subjective opinion. Ask the artist why the color choices were made. Many viewers are tactless when it comes to an artist's work. I hope this will help you avoid many of the pitfalls. Good luck. So am I supposed to get... Okay, hang on. Paul, the password is the silly name you called me when we were kids. If you've forgotten, I'm sure as heck not going to remind you. So... Can I just ask him? This is the best website. Incidentally.
Hey, are you
No.
done with that thing? It's getting kinda late. If you want to catch Claude at the gallery, we'd better head over.
But I want to ask Charles what his email address is, and then ask Paul what insulting name he calls Charles.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's blow this popsicle stand.
With our ghost blowing. Let's do a save. That's not the save button. Let's do a save. RosaBlackwell.com goes to the developer's website. That's very good. Although, what it should do is link to that detective bear. Let's go to the gallery.
I don't need
Man.
to talk to him. He's really studying that glass of wine.
Wow, really hypocritical coming from me,
I
eh?
don't need to talk to him. He seems to really like that one. Claude?
Hey, you came.
You're drunk.
Very much so.
Let's
Countess.
talk about the Countess.
Who?
The Dark Lady?
I don't talk about her.
So you do know her.
Don't try to understand my work. I haven't met.
It's meant to be understood. Don't try to understand it.
Understands art, not one.
I understand art because I Googled
Who
artist.
says I don't understand art?
You understand my work? All right. Tell me what you think of this painting behind me.
I think the one that best fits the criteria they gave us are the hard lines in this painting are really provocative because it's specific and connects it to my experience, whereas the colors one is just like colors are good and the other ones are also kind of generic.
The hard lines in this painting are really provocative.
You think so, huh?
Oh, yes. The hard lines against a soft world.
Really? Excuse me.
I'm just gonna follow him around for a while, aren't I? Hey, can I use the fire exit yet?
This is just the fire exit. If I need to leave, I'll go out the way I came in.
That's quitter talk. By the way, before I do this plot thing, can I use my ghost to harass everyone by ghost blowing on them?
Let him have his fun. Wow, does he look drunk.
I thought I had that draft fixed.
I'm a nuisance. I have some nerve. She doesn't care at all? So strange. Alright, let me go... No, tab. Tab? Okay.
So, Claude,
What do you think of this painting here?
Alright, hold on. It's very atmospheric. I really like this. What is it supposed to be? Feels like this one's closest. I don't think I love it based on the particular way they aligned their criteria. Let him have his fun is game dev talk for we didn't want to pay for more voice acting. I guess. I feel like you could give like a generic grunt or something. So specifically said don't ask what it's supposed to be. But like one of the things that did sort of suggest that you should ask them. I think this is what I want to say. Very atmospheric is kind of generic. Definitely saying that you like it is dumb. It is funny that you can go up to him and be like, we need to talk. And he's like, all right, simply tell me what you think of this painting. You're like, no, I'll talk to you later.
does this painting represent darkness and shadow?
It could. Is that what it feels like to you?
Sure.
Then it does. Excuse me.
Sure feels like it's the wrong answer, but okay.
Claude, we really need to talk about...
What do you think of this painting here?
Why is this one so colorful and the other one so dark?
Why is one side so colorful and the other so dark?
Well, look at it. The darkness is eating away the color, overwhelming it.
That's a bit bleak.
It's a bleak world. Can I be forward?
Forward?
It's been a great pleasure talking to you.
Really?
Yeah, we googled correctly.
Very refreshing. You seem to have a
Usually I get in trouble for that.
than most of the rabble here.
I do?
Listen, Rosangela, was it?
Oh, call me Rosa.
Please.
I'm suffocating in here. I need a breath of fresh air.
Try the fire escape.
Fire escape. We can talk
Oh,
about
God.
it in private.
Hey, way to go.
Claude, where are you going?
Just some fresh air, Joes. I'll be back. No worries.
Yeah, I got it on my first try. Getting achievements for stuff, like intentionally, like I'm good at stuff. It is weird that the fire exit didn't sound an alarm though, right? You can finally say it would be funny if like he just casually went out there and then like to leave we're like, hey, hang on, that's like the fire exit, then an alarm will sound. And so like the only way to like legitimately follow him out there would be to start a fire. I feel like that would actually be a really fun like quirk for an adventure game. Like it's, you know, like normally you're sort of like chaotic neutral or chaotic evil, where you're like a kleptomaniac who's like lying to everyone and stuff. You know, the sociopathic protagonist I'm always talking about. But it would be really funny if like you had to be like lawful good, so you had to like do these like insane like awful things so that you could follow the rules correctly. Fire exits don't normally start an alarm. Maybe not in Europe, but a really high percentage of them in America have warnings on them that will say, like, alarm will sound if door is opened. Which is another one of those things that makes me convinced that, despite being set in New York, this game was probably developed in Europe. I don't actually know where the developer is. Or even bumped into. They're like deliberately pretty sensitive with the intention, I believe, to alert everyone in case of danger, even a little bit. Are we going to shove him off a railing like we did with the Countess?
We need to talk about the Countess.
Yes. She's so sad and angry. I wonder why.
She was murdered. Sad? Angry? Sangry? Hangry? You're not yourself. Eat a Snickers.
Why is she sad?
She's looking for something she lost.
Yeah, her mind.
It consumes her.
No, probably her ghost friend, right?
Why is she so angry?
I don't know. I wish I did. I think she's being forced against her will, being turned into something she shouldn't be.
Like what?
I don't know.
How do you
I
know?
mean, she's a
I
ghost.
see her in my dreams. She's looking for me. She hasn't found me yet, but I'm hoping my painting will help.
You want her to find you.
I think she wants to give you a high five, but she's a ghost, so she can't. So she's
She
sangry.
needs me to help her. She's chosen me.
Oh, I get it. He's the chosen one. Why don't we ever meet anyone sane?
The truth of the matter is, if he can actually see her, then she's probably trying to, like, reverse spirit medium him, right? Because she was a spirit medium in life, and then her companion got, I don't know, ghost busted or something. We still don't know. And then she went crazy because, like, she heard ghosts and, like, couldn't help them, and then just started, like, killing people. But like now that she is a murder ghost and like there's someone who's listening to her, she's probably now trying to be the other side of the equation, but she's still kind of crazy, so she's probably trying to like get him to kill or something. Hey, Mr. Generic Name, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Probably best to warn him. Yeah, probably best to warn him. She is a murder ghost. Wishin said, when I was in elementary school, one of the other kids accidentally set off the fire alarm when he bumped into the alarm pole thingy, throwing his backpack onto the pile of other backpacks. I totally believe that. That definitely seems like a thing that would happen to me in that situation.
Claude, the Countess is dangerous.
Dangerous? No. She's lost and angry, but not dangerous.
I've met
She's
her.
kind of a
She's
murder
killed many
ghost.
times.
You? Why would she seek you? You're not an artist.
No, but I've still seen her. She's powerful. Power you don't want to mess with.
I just want to help her.
Hey, pal, helping ghosts is our turf.
Just be careful, okay?
Careful.
Wait a
Just
minute.
Who are you? How do you know so much about my dreams?
I'm...
Well,
I
you
know
painted
things
No thanks.
them.
Like what?
that you're messing with stuff you don't understand.
And you do?
Well, I'm working on it.
The face.
All right.
Mm.
Teach me. I need to know.
Well, I'll have to charge per the song. That's what that was about, right?
There's something about me. I shouldn't tell you, but you're in danger.
What is it?
Look out!
There she is.
No!
Oh.
No! No, you didn't. Claude!
Oh, no, you didn't. Don't face the camera. Yee, the face.
Suicide.
Well, what else would they think? He was drunk and...
Well, they might have thought you killed him, so suicide's like a bonus for you. Yeah.
forever.
She killed him, Joey. Right in front of me.
Us, kid. Us. I was there too.
He was
No, you
opening
weren't. You're
up to me.
dead.
I could have warned him. I could have helped him.
It happened too fast. There wasn't anything either of us could do.
It's not right.
Newsflash, kid. The world's a rotten place.
It doesn't have to be.
Have you heard about credit scores?
Stop her, Joey. She can't kill anybody else.
Look, darling, your aunt met that witch and barely survived. And no offense, doll, she had a stiffer spine than you.
Dang, son. No, you
She didn't
didn't.
finish the job, did she?
Not exactly, no.
Then I have to finish what she started. Good night, Joey.
Weird night, but okay. I'm shocked they didn't blame her. Agreed, Neko.
I'm
Ah,
proud
the
of you, Rosangela.
Duchess
You
or
are
something.
proving to be much stronger than your guide suspects.
He thinks I'm stupid.
Be wary.
Same.
Follow
Same
your
Z's.
heart.
Who are you?
Sleep.
Into the
You have a
sleep
challenge
witch.
to meet, and you must be fresh. You won't remember me, but we will meet soon.
For some reason, I find it really unpleasant for a ghost to tell a young woman that she needs to be fresh. It just makes me unhappy. Jiki says he heard Yikes Forever in another stream and
go.
thought of me. I'm touched, but also curious. Did they have, like, the sound effect recorder, or was it just a person using that expression? I wasn't paying attention to what he said when I woke up. Hopefully it was a pleasantry. It was a
Let's
command.
talk, Joey.
Can I help you?
Did they have it set up that people could, like, play the audio with just chat command? Technically, I could set that up, but I feel like I'm rightfully concerned that everyone would abuse it, because, like, why would you not? Into chat. Don't mind this weird lady, because she's like a ghost version of K-Mac. The thought has occurred to me as well, but I would like to think that K-Mac has the sense not to tell a young woman that she needs to be fresh. That's really the main thing that I object to. And is the gift sub counter reset? Oh, I should know this. I think I have it set for monthly? You can set it for different things, but it's been so long since I set it, I'm not 100% sure. Considering it's at 58, I'm going to say monthly is probably right, since that is my instinct. Chat with Joey.
Not right now.
Yeah, I mean, considering that we have a relatively small community here, I wanted to leave it at a long enough interval that, like, people could meaningfully contribute to it. You can set it for pretty short. And I think you could just set it for, like, lifetime. It's like, that seems... I don't know. Then, obviously, Demolition just steamrolls everyone forever. Did she say something about being fresh? Yeah, she was like, go to sleep. You must be fresh in the morning. I don't know, it was gross.
Not right. Not right.
It's a weird response to that. What's in my notebook? All the same stuff? Did we talk to him about Joseph Mitchell? In a literal
I
sense?
heard about Joseph Mitchell back when I studied journalism. He sounded fascinating. What was he like?
Southern guy, very soft-spoken. Seemed like
don't
a
remember
rip,
him
but
being
had more
Southern.
backbone than I gave him credit for.
I can't believe you and Auntie met him.
He almost got your auntie killed. Remember that?
Yeah, it was probably meant more like refresh, but like it just, I don't know, the delivery, it just like sounded not great. And at this point, because it's been analyzed so heavily, I think we're overplaying it, but it's sort of like, my intention was really just like, that's not the word choice I would use. Whether or not we wanted her to be fresh, I don't think I'd put it that way.
You know what I think we should do?
What?
Learn how to milk a cow?
Somebody's bound to know something.
Sure, talk to people, because you're so good at that.
All I have to do is Google art, and then I know how to art good.
That's all for now.
Sure.
The fresh thing makes me think of, I think it's a Family Guy bit. They did like a fake commercial for like a feminine hygiene product or something, and like it's like a mother and a daughter, and the daughter says something like, "Mom, do you ever feel like not so fresh down there?" And the mom's reaction is like, "What? Oh God, no! Oh no, oh God!" Like just like really trying to make her feel like horrible about herself. And it's funny because it's exaggerated, and also because of like the unnecessary stigma of those things, but also if someone did that in real life, it would be horrifying. Can I take out the trash?
There's nothing in here but trash bags.
Would you like to hear a first world problem? They didn't collect trash this week because of the hurricane. Because the hurricane hit the day they would normally collect the trash, and I guess they just decided not to run the trucks at all, but like didn't tell anyone. So like, I had my trash can out by the curb, and it got like real whipped around by the store. For a while, there was a cat sleeping inside of it, which is fine, I guess. It didn't make much of a mess. No 1 day delay. No, it seems like now I have to wait for next week, because I am fairly certain they didn't come today. It was the same thing you were thinking when we were having the fresh discussion. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little goofy. Also, here's a fun fact. So, the area I live has had both, like, garbage and recycling pickup rotation for an indeterminate period of time. And as of, like, Tuesday, they just don't do recycling anymore. And there's some implication that, like, I am meant to source, like, a third-party recycling company that I should now, like, pay a fee to have recycling managed. I'm like, no, I'm pro-recycling and I really want to do that, but I also kind of don't want to have to, like, pay for an entirely new service for that. It's complicated. Do I live in the city or the county? I mean, I live in a county in kind of a suburban area. Not exactly rural, but definitely not urban. Yeah, I've come to understand that most recycling does nothing. And honestly, like, of all the sort of, like, corporate America lies to become woke to, that one genuinely makes me furious. Captain Planet lied to us! They recently took petrochem manufacturers to task for pushing it. I haven't heard that. I don't expect much to come from it, however. It makes your organizational neurons spark joy. I would like to know more about that, Neko, because I find that sentiment unexpected. So, like, I can't lie. Like, the fact that I, like, kind of know that the majority of recycling doesn't do much makes me be like, is it really worth my time to, like, pay for a fee to recycle stuff? But, like, that also feels crummy. Be $1 million fine for billions in profit. Yeah, that seems like America. Have you heard about credit scores? Rural in Jakey's area has to pay for trash pickup or take it to the convenience center. Yeah, I've known of at least one rural area to do that, although I've normally lived in urban or suburban areas. Here, there seems to be something where, like, the county, you don't actually pay for the trash services, which I thought was weird, and then my dad confirmed that he had never had that experience. It's like, it's assessed as, like, part of your, like, tax, like, your property tax, I assume? And he said they do that just, like, once a year. I don't really know how the system works, but I, like, called and was like, I think I should be paying you for trash pickup. And the guy's like, nah, we don't do that. And I'm like, I don't understand. Please explain to me like I'm stupid. How was LA? I've always been in an apartment building. There's always just, like, a dumpster, and the building, I think, paid for a service. I have some vague sense of what my parents' setup was like in, like, kind of suburban LA. Suburbs in LA are a weird combination. Oh man, I'm suddenly reminded of a completely random thought. Florida has dragonflies natively, or at least in a reasonably large quantity. This morning, my mom came over to, like, wait for the landscaping guy to show up to sort of coordinate that while I was working. And when she first showed up, there was all the debris from the storm passing by yesterday. Storm Helen, or Helene, whatever. And so we were, like, picking up a lot of debris and trying to set it aside somewhere where it could be managed later, which thankfully we've gotten taken care of now. And when we were out, I saw for the first time ever, like, a baby dragonfly, which was just so wild to me. Like, I've seen plenty of, like, full-size dragonflies, but it's just like, he was just a little guy. He was trying so hard. It felt like he was working so much harder than a normal dragonfly to, like, buzz around. I don't know, he was a good little guy. I almost want to tell you the flip side of that story, because I saw another insect have an extremely bad time with the storm, but I think I'll spare you the negativity. Do I live in the swamp? I live in Florida, so technically yes. One of my friends has liked to give me a really hard time about the fact that the entire state is a swamp, which isn't technically true as far as I know, but, like, there's a lot of swamp, and there's a lot of, like, residual swampness. There's definitely, like, mosquitoes around, although they backed off significantly in the time I've lived here. They were, like, in full force when I first moved in. It was nasty, to the point that I was, like, thinking of hiring, like, a specialty service to deal with them, but I think it's under control. I think we just happened to move at like peak mosquito time, which was bad. Maybe Florida has a swamp witch. I mean, we can only hope. If we take photos of cute creatures. Yeah, I was not in a position to take a photo of like a little flitting bug in the morning, unfortunately, but like I enjoyed the little baby dragonfly. That genuinely made me happy. Did I get sideswiped by the hurricane? That's about how I'd put it, Kat. We got like the real like fringe ends of like the storm whipping around. So we got a lot of wind and like a little bit of rain, but like honestly like less rain than you get from just like normal storms in this area. But the wind was pretty severe. It did like split, not in half, but it did cause a major split for like a nearby tree and dislodge like a bunch of branches from trees that are sort of like on the edges of my property. That's a great point. Maybe the previous tenant here was a swamp witch with their 34 cats. Orlando area got rained pretty good. We had a really hilarious bout of like 30 minutes of like some of the most intense rain I've ever seen yesterday morning, and then like not a significant amount of rain for the rest of the day. Like there was some rain and it was on and off, but like it wasn't like sustained rain for like hours or something like that. But like in the morning there was just a period of just like, and I was like, huh, I hope it's not going to do this all day. And then it cleared up and like really wasn't a problem. And I'm like, that's good. I'm glad. Anyway, we decided our goal was to just talk to people indiscriminately. I guess we should talk to Josie about her dead artist who's maybe making her some money, huh? Hey, wait a minute. So the Meltzer Foundation funded Water Under the Bridge and this art gallery, and an actor and an artist associated with each died. And one of the two people here used to work at the New Yorker, which is where that other journalist who the Countess was like commuting with to find murder targets worked. So do you think that like when Joseph Mitchell died, she started consulting the records of that guy whose email we're presumably trying to hack, and that's why we're trying to hack his email? Is that the plot of this game? Charlie, yeah, sure, you could use his real name, or you could just describe him like an idiot, like I normally do. I would agree with that, Demolition. I was reasonably satisfied with the fact that that was a category 4 hurricane that came relatively close to my new house, and like it wasn't amazing, but like not bad. Kat says, my job means there's a non-zero chance of extra phone calls due to the hurricane. Ugh, I am sorry to hear that. My job is such that when major elections are coming up, I have a lot of extra work to do, and I'm kind of dreading it. Yeah, it was... I mean, like, being inland some amount where I am, it helps, like, mitigate the force of the storms from what I understand. Like, it's a more insurable area, and, like, there's other associated positives. But, like, yeah, if you were anywhere near the coast or in the path, because, like, it's I've been pretty busy today with, like, I've just had kind of a lot going on between the contractor stuff and work and then getting to the stream on time. Where is the storm currently? It made, like, major landfall, right? Like, it was hitting in, like, Georgia, like, early this morning or something? Central... Did it veer further west? Central U.S.? I thought it was, like, kind of going up the east coast. Not exactly on the coast, but, like, toward the coast? Yeah, I mean, good thing I could get home insurance, even though I had a little bit of a hassle with that. Not that they were trying to deny me for being in, like, a high-risk zone, because I'm not, but, yeah. And from what I can tell, my rate's pretty good, but it's also the first time I've ever had home insurance. But my mom says it's pretty good, so I'm inclined to trust her on that. Became a tropical storm and went through Tennessee and North Carolina. I mean, at least it has already downgraded, but, you know, small comfort considering. Yeah, I'm decently. I'm pretty firmly like Central Florida, I think, by most considerations. I'm not even in like a flood zone because that would also affect my insurance, and I think at this point I would like necessarily be aware of that. I work as front desk driver dispatch after hours everything for a literal nationwide logistics company. 75% of the job is taking phone calls. Well, it's one thing for 75% of the job to be taking phone calls, and another thing for it to escalate severely because of current events. But yeah, in some ways that sounds kind of similar to my job, just like much more important. Yeah, I'm somewhat aware of the insurance situation with Florida as a result of moving here, but you know, my parents had done a lot of research knowing more about home ownership than I did and do, and you know, they picked out an area that is, you know, relatively secure for these things that are uncontrollable. But yeah, I think like the coasts are basically uninsurable, and a ton of like insurance providers have decided to leave the state entirely with the rate of like escalating weather phenomena. So yeah, like insurance is rough, but like I'm doing okay for that. Hey, do you know anything about your
Rosangela, gosh, what a horrible night.
Are you
to have a
okay?
curse? I agree.
I'm fine. Poor Claude, I had no idea what the show was doing to him.
What do you mean?
Well, he killed himself, didn't he? Oh, he grumbled a lot, but I thought deep down he liked the attention. Still, at least his work shall live on.
Keeping the gallery open.
You're keeping the gallery open?
Of course. Everything here is completely sold out.
Really?
That painting
Art is
I
weird.
Yesterday, I couldn't give it away. Today, I'm being offered $5,000 for it.
That's horrible.
That's business, I'm afraid. I feel bad for Claude, but, well...
Hey, has this game heard about credit scores? I think it has. Hopefully I get the Homer tax reference. I know I should, but I don't think I do. As it is, if there's anything super important, night shift folks inform me at shift change. Our office is pretty good about that. Well, that's honestly refreshing, Kat, because, like, honestly, I can't even get people in my office to keep notes about their own stuff. What if the Countess and Foundation are working together? Yeah, I don't know if you dipped out for a second. I was kind of angling for that as a likely course for the remainder of the game. Because, like, there's a connection between this Foundation and the New Yorker, and the Countess originally had a connection with the New Yorker as, like, picking out her targets. So, like, if this other guy, who isn't the reporter who died, came over to the Meltzer Foundation and she somehow followed him, then I'm thinking that, like, all the people that they donated to are now her target list instead of the people he's writing, like, interest pieces about. And I think that's why we're going to hack into his email to find the last target or something. Tell me more about your money, and then more about the money.
Lucky for you, he died.
That's not fair. I've known Claude for years. I liked him a lot.
He
never
was
felt his work
aight.
would be seen by anybody. And now people believe his work has value. That's something, isn't it?
If you think so.
Wow, we're really cynical of her, even though... Actually, this is super weird. Why are we being so, like, catty and crappy to Josie, she's running her business, when we, like, literally know that a ghost murdered the guy? We have no reason to suspect that Josie did anything at all to facilitate his death. We watched it happen, we know the cause, we know who's responsible, and it's not Josie. We're like, wow, Josie, kind of sounds like you're suspicious of murder. Like, what? What are you doing? Are you okay, Rosangela? Beauty of working a 12-hour day shift is that there's a 12-hour night opposite mine, and not informing the opposite shift of problems that could become theirs is regarded as the cardinal sin of the highest order. I mean, just because that's true doesn't mean that people respect the importance of the
What
job.
will you do with the money?
Well, a percentage of it will go to my investors. As for the rest, I don't know. I could sponsor another artist like Claude, or I could give it to charity. I'll need to think about it.
Can I ask you some more questions?
I don't think so, Rosangela. I'm meeting with the buyer
Sick
today, and
burn.
I have to get everything ready.
Can I ask you
I don't think I'm meeting...
I love being unattentive to people around me in an adventure game. Can I go out the fire
I've
exit?
seen more of that fire escape than I want to.
Can I eat the grapes? Punch the skateboard, eat the licorice. Alright, let's leave. Needs to keep it to support herself. I mean, right? Like, this game is, like, extremely anti-business. Like, I'm anti-big business. I'm generally pro-small business if they're, like, doing a good enough job. Like, I'm not of the mindset that, like, all business should succeed no matter what. I feel like that's inherently problematic. But, like, if people are, like, starting their own business and, like, putting in the work and, like, doing a good job, like, I'm all for supporting it. I've been doing a lot of that around here. But, like, this game seems to be, like, if anyone has a business at all, they're actually Satan. And that's saying something, because we've demonstrably proved that Satan exists in this world. We should probably go bother the Meltzer Foundation. Waddle waddle.
Yes,
Hi, me again.
go right in.
I heard you were at the gallery last night.
Yes,
And you saw what happened?
yes.
Wow. Just wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
That's the guy to do a thing like that, huh?
A ghost named the Countess. Next question.
What can I help you with?
The Park Gallery's success.
It looks like the Park Gallery is going to be successful now.
Yes, Josie certainly has had her work cut out for her.
So do you. Her profits are your profits.
Yes, there is that.
Me
All
profits as Sue profits.
death.
Now that's unfair.
2 men dead? That doesn't sound fishy to you.
Should it? What kind of men do you take us for? I have sympathy
Bad.
for Frank Lyons, but he died of natural causes. As for the artist, he was obviously unstable. You'll need more evidence than that if you want to convince me of anything.
Hey, not for nothing. What did you call Charlie when he was a kid? This is completely unrelated to that whole evidentiary concern you just raised. But, like, could you just tell me that? And then, like, maybe his email address? I'm pretty sure I can figure that one out. But it would just save me a little time, you know? Which, again, kind of feels like I'm doing work. I've had to research so many people's email addresses. One of the most annoying things about radio, and this is, like, a real first world gripe, but, like, I have to contact a lot of radio stations to get, like, a lot of paperwork submitted so that everyone can be happy, even though radio stations love not to be happy. They love to be a nuisance. Radio stations have, by and large, like, a pretty high turnover rate from what I can tell. Like, they're largely small businesses. Some of them are run by, like, big national corporations as well. But a lot of them are just, like, a local radio station or a small conglomeration of them run by someone who has experience. And, like, so, like, they'll frequently just, like, not tell me that they, like, fired, like, the only person that I ever spoke to at a station. And, like, people love not to, like, answer the phone or, like, respond to, like, the general email addresses they put on the websites of their businesses and stuff. So then I have to do, like, just, like, really tedious amounts of research to, like, track down a name and then, like, make an educated guess about their email address. Or, like, get an email address and try to figure out their name so I can contact them. It's just, like, maybe if you have, like, business arrangements with my company, you just, like, make sure that you're, like, fulfilling the obligations of your contract. And then as part of that, make sure you have an open line of communication before, like, firing all your staff or whatever. Yeah, I'm getting the sense, Kat, that in, like, broadly speaking, you and I have kind of similar jobs. Like, obviously, details are different, and your job is a lot more important than mine. But, like, I think there's a lot of overlap here. Oh, yeah, I get a lot of that, too, Demolition, of, like... And like, people are always, like, really weirdly catty about it, too. They're like, that person hasn't worked here in, like, 6 months. It's like, oh, so you've been negligent for 6 months. And somehow that's my problem. One thing that always kills me is, like, I've had this happen a surprising amount where, like, I'll contact someone in a situation like this and I'll, like, get a new contact. I'll be like, oh yeah, now, like, Sally takes care of it. And I'll be like, okay, and I get the information. I add Sally as a contact. And then, like, a month later, I'll like email Sally and get like an email kickback of like, nope, that's not a real email address. And then I'll call them and be like, oh yeah, Sally doesn't work here anymore. I'm like, you guys need to get your act together. Sally was here for like 14 days. I think that reflects on you. I feel like I more or less already said 2 men are dead,
2
right?
people have died.
Yes, so you said.
That doesn't bother you.
Neither of those men have anything to do with us. If you're looking for a conspiracy, you're looking in the wrong place.
I don't know. I genuinely don't find Rosa to be a super relatable protagonist. I mean, like, at the start of this game, she just, like, refused to take an obvious solution to, like, exercising the unhappy actor ghost and made that into, like, a whole ordeal for some reason, where we had to break into his apartment and memorize the script instead of just, like, renting a movie. And, like, now, I feel like she's just taking a weird tack where she's, like, badgering, like, all these people who, like, may or may not. I mean, I really doubt that Josie has a connection to the death in any meaningful way. It's possible that there's, like, knowledge and intent on behalf of the Meltzer Foundation, but we don't have any proof. And I don't think that just, like, declaring that they're evil does anything to help our cause of proving that, right? Like, that just feels like a weird way to go about doing that. We need to have a generic email for the stuff that we do and forward it to the new employee. Honestly, sometimes they do have something like that in place, and they just, like, forget to, like, transfer that to a new person. Because, like, in my position, in some cases, like, the radio station will just, like, act like they don't have to comply with the contracts they've already signed. So they'll just, like, kind of conveniently forget that they, like, have an obligation, like, in a legal sense, to, like, do this thing. And then, like, when I call and, like, call them on it, they'll be like, oh, well, like, we fired, like, Thomas, and, like, he didn't tell us that. I'm like, well, maybe he didn't tell you that because you fired him. And, like, maybe you should just, like, have a sense of what your legal obligations are as a company. I don't know that asking any of these questions is super useful.
Your foundation is pretty generous.
Well, we don't give money to just anybody. Charlie over there is in charge of separating the wheat from the chaff. When someone comes to us with their handout, Charlie does his research and makes sure that they are worth the risk. You wouldn't believe some of the bums we get in here.
Joseph Gould?
Have you ever heard of Joe?
I feel like I should be able to do something here to get that password. But maybe that's a later task. Maybe we gotta make this stupid complicated. Like we did with the script. I can't talk to Charlie, it's not an
She
option.
gave you?
Paul.
I'm just looking out for you, little brother.
Well, don't.
Stay put.
Let's see if they have new dialogue. Blow on him.
He's so engrossed in his book, he didn't even notice. Must be losing my touch.
Hey, when are we going to get a real company email address?
What's wrong with the one we've got?
Oh, come on.
It does the job.
At least we have a...
I mean, I don't think tampering with the email is gonna get a different response. I think I need to, like, learn something else and bring it back here in order to, like,
It'll come up
get
again
these
when
two to talk about Charles's old nickname or whatever. But yeah, much like the second game was especially guilty of this, this is a room that when I come in, I am immediately in a dialogue tree, and if I leave the dialogue tree, I leave the room. So I can't, like, choose to go to Charlie or, like, mess around in the room or whatever.
Yeah, the password.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this has changed. I think I need new information.
It won't. Then give it a...
What about Google? Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could, like, make an educated guess about his email address. Well, I guess we might as well check to see if for some reason Charlie Meltzer's childhood nickname is online, but that feels like a weird stretch. Like, that might be the solution, but I feel like that shouldn't be the solution, you know? Charlie Meltzer? I don't know if it wants Charles. Charles Meltzer. It's Meltzer, right? Yeah, I don't think that's it. Well, I think for now we're still on the like randomly talk to people plan because we haven't really learned anything despite talking to people. You might have thoughts.
Got time for some more questions?
Sure, ask away.
I'm only just noticing that I can't ask anyone about the death of that guy directly, huh? I guess I could ask about the gallery?
Have you ever been to the park gallery?
No, sorry.
Can you tell me anything about the Meltzer Foundation?
No, sorry.
The Joseph Gould thing hasn't really tied into anything meaningfully yet either. Nor did we ever get an answer as to why the last ghost was like channeling another ghost. I'll try going to Cubestar, but don't expect anything to happen. I'm wondering if maybe something will trigger at Roosevelt Island finally.
Come in. Oh, hello.
I don't know if Neko's still here, but it seems important to start interactions in this office by playing with the cat now. Been playing Persona 5 Royale recently. Excellent game. I've never played a Persona game, believe it or not. Also, I still haven't made time to finish playing Baldur's Gate. I haven't quite finished Act 1. Letters, thank you for the raid. I set up a new raid alert. It's been a long time. How you doing, Letters? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I can ask you about the gallery and the ghost murder that
What do you
occurred.
think of Josie Park's gallery?
Ugh, dreadful. Josie's a sweet woman, but her taste in art is somewhat questionable. Although it didn't drive me to drink, like some people.
I am of the impression that despite the fact the game wanted me to talk to everyone, there's not a lot to be learned right now. Succeeded in 2 ascensions in a row and Slay the Spire? Dang, what level are you on? I don't think I ever made it past, like, 6, I think is my highest. I was trying to keep all of the classes balanced. There's, like, some I think I could easily get higher, but, like, I really suck at Watcher and Defect? Is that the robot? Ooh, Ironclad 9, Watcher 10. Watcher 10 impressive. I could get past Watcher 5. I suck at Watcher. I don't jive with that at all. Division says he also never finished Baldur's Gate Act 1 because it wasn't grabbing him. I was really invested, I just didn't have the time. I wish I had the time. Got a really good relic to start. Well, a good start is a good start. I've had trouble with Ironclad and Defect. Yeah, I'm like... The problem for me with Defect is I feel like with Defect all the strategies are like kind of linear and there's not a lot of crossover, so like if you start getting good stuff for one of them and don't keep getting good stuff for that, then like you end up with just like not a particularly successful strategy. The problem with Watcher for me is that it's like very like combo-y in a way that like I don't particularly like. And it also encourages like high risk, high reward stuff that I tend not to like. So like it's it's really unnatural for me, and I really struggle with that. Any word on how things are going on the Marvel Strike Force front? I mean, they keep making announcements that make everyone mad, if that's the question. But Marvel Strike Force is a game made by Scopely, a company my sister is working for. So there's been some discussion of it on the channel in the past. Did our Start Tech rating drop? It doesn't drop. It just means that we're not progressing towards the higher tiers very quickly. The rate has decreased significantly. Not usually a fan of Watcher, but just not discarding your hand provides a nice level of control I don't normally have. That's fair. Must capitalize. How are things for me? All things considered, I'm doing pretty well. I've been having just a heck of a time trying to get certain things done. I went on a whole extremely long tirade at the start of the stream, but the short version is survived the hurricane. Minimal damage, really. Just like some cursory stuff to trees around the property, and the house itself seems in good shape. Happened to be working on getting a landscaper to come out here, and so he hauled out a bunch of big tree debris and stuff like that. And I'm making progress on owning my car that I technically legally own, but also technically legally don't, because the California DMV and the lender who helped me pay for the car initially both suck incredibly. Yeah, I just moved here and they're like, here you go, extreme weather. Technically, it's like the second, I think Debbie technically reached hurricane status, but like only just barely. And that was like, that hit like right, like the day I moved in and kicked up all the mosquitoes in the world. But yeah, luckily I'm not in like a super high risk area, so things are doing okay for now. And like I said, stuff outside of the immediate concern of big scary storm also going reasonably well. My mom got me a fun new plush that's up to be found somewhere in the room behind me today. I don't suppose I can ask her new things about the Meltzer Foundation.
Anything else you can tell me about the Meltzer Foundation?
Thank you, Letters. I'm a big fan of this shirt in particular, even if it's a little big on me now.
If you want to learn more about them, look them up. They're on the internet.
I already did that. That's how I found their address. But yeah, I mean, like, look. They're holding hands. He's so cute. I love Wally so much. Oh, that kind of reminds me. Earlier this week, my sister encountered some Pokemon reference that neither of us was familiar with to something called Bidoof's Big Stand. And she was like, do you know what this is? And I was like, I don't. And I looked it up on YouTube, and it's like this really cute, like, 8-minute short. And it's like the story of like a Bidoof who tries so hard that like he kind of gets ostracized from a community of Bidoof. And then he like goes on a journey to become a hero with all his like try-hard energy. And it has like kind of a similar through line of how like Wally just wants to hold Eve's hand, and it was making me emotional because the thing that makes me most emotional in all the world is how badly Wally wants to hold Eve's hand, because I so get it. What if I search Jay Gould? I could try that, but the thing is like he's not really meaningfully related to anything that we know about the current case. Like surely there's something left for us to do with him in this game, but like we may already have done the search, but also, like, I don't know how to link it to anything.
Thanks for the...
Oh, I clicked slightly outside of the window. I'm going to go to Roosevelt Island, and then we could try Googling Joe Gould, and then we could try a game of sobbing. Ah, instinct was correct. Hello, man.
Hi.
I think this guy is someone's sassy gay best friend. Attempt to make small talk. I will fail. Roll the natural 1. I have personally, I have a unique ability that when trying to make small talk, my D20 roll is automatically modified to a 1.
Rotten day to be out, huh?
I've seen worse.
brings you out here?
None of your business.
Pretty cool lighthouse, huh?
If you say so.
Pretty cool lighthouse, huh? Nice mug.
Nice mug.
Uh-huh.
What's written on it?
Mind your own business.
Is it a really important mug?
I'll ask you a couple of questions.
And who are you, may I ask?
Rosangela Blackwell. Nice to meet you.
Why do you want to talk to me?
Cause it's an adventure game and no one else has anything important to say. Nice mug.
Nice mug.
Uh-huh.
What's written on it?
Mind your own business.
What's funny is it actually says mind your own business on it, but we assume he's being flippant because he's been flippant about everything else. Anything weird going on here, like a murder ghost called the Countess or anything like that?
If anything unusual happened here.
Unusual like what?
Just
Murder
anything
ghost named the Countess?
unusual.
I've got nothing to say to you.
What else aren't you telling me?
I'm curious about the lighthouse.
What makes you think I know anything?
Nice mug.
Uh-huh.
What's written on it?
Mind your own business.
Well, see you around.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Joey, could you float over there and read his mug?
The mug has a company logo on it. It says Gold Tech? No idea what that is.
Joe Gold Tech? Okay, we've backslid a little bit into earlier Blackwell logic. We have absolutely no reason to think that that this man or the logo on his mug are of any importance. But because it's an adventure game and it's the only thing we could do to progress, we must investigate the lead, and surely it will be important. And Gold Tech is obviously going to be connected to Joe Gould, I presume. But like this is just like mind-boggling because like, could you imagine like trying to like investigate a case this way? This isn't how you get stuff done. There's no logic here. Gosh, this is a very big pumpkin Vasco. Can I compliment his mug again? No, that's not what I meant to do.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see you around.
Oh, I can't talk about his mug anymore. Can't talk about his ugly mug that presumably depicts the deadliest catch on it. These games have logic. They're supposed to. Whether or not the logic is good is always up for debate, but this is not a particularly good point, I would say. It's Gold Tech, right? Not like gold. But I'll just Google it. John Goldwater, deceased. The body of a man named John Goldwater was found in the Roosevelt Island lighthouse. His father is reported to spend a lot of time at the scene. Do you think he's a sassy gay best friend, that man? Let's read the actual story. There's a weird quirk in the way the game adds those things to your notebook, because you do a lot of oogling in this game, which again, I normally get in trouble for. But, like, before you can read the story, you get the clue you're supposed to get from the story. City Archive, murderer still at large. The search continues for the murderer of John Goldwater, whose body was found by the Roosevelt Island Lighthouse early last week. John Goldwater was the chief researcher at Gold Tech, a local medical research facility. John leaves behind his father, Marty Goldwater, who often keeps vigil at the scene of the crime. Marty Goldwater. Okay, that man does not exist. And while we're here, that's just a really good website. I'll be honest, I like that bear. If they put that on Makeship, I'd buy that. Oh, that reminds me. I'm so genuinely upset. Earlier this week, I saw a photo on Twitter of a really good Time Wizard plush from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, oh, I've tried searching for one before. Like, I've sought out a good Time Wizard plush, and they don't exist. Like, there's like unofficial ones that are pretty good that like aren't for sale because someone just made them for themselves, and then there's official ones that look like garbage. And then they made like an actual like purchasable official one that's great. And it was apparently like an exclusive at San Diego Comic-Con this year. And like on the secondary market, it's worth like $500. And I'm like, that is a crime. There's a Hello Kitty Yu-Gi-Oh collaboration. Oh, you don't say, Jakey. You don't say about that, huh? Ended a little sooner than I thought it would, so I'm a couple shy of the full set. I've been trying to weigh the concept of going on eBay and doing something about it, but to be honest, I probably shouldn't. Time Wizard. Have I heard about the latest banned and restricted list for Commander? Oh boy, have I. Yikes forever. People are so big mad, and I really genuinely don't relate. Like, it seems like the crux of the argument. So, for those who don't know, Magic the Gathering has a popular format called Commander, which is largely run by the fans in a way that, like, Tournament Magic isn't. The relationship is a little complicated, but that's more or less true. And Wizards, the company who makes Magic the Gathering, has tried to capitalize on this casual format that they don't entirely run by, like, making, you know, sets of cards that lean into promoting that format and things like that. And to do it, they've, like, printed, like, rare, like, chase cards with, like, special art and things like that to just try and drive up the price of those packs by making them super desirable for the potential to have these, like, few really rare cards. Among them are Mana Crypt, a really old card that generates, like, bonus mana. Dockside Extortionist, which is a relatively recent pirate. The best pirate that wasn't previously banned in Commander. Jeweled Lotus, a Commander take on the card Black Lotus, which is so infamously busted. It's one of the most well-known trading cards of all time. And, gosh, what was the fourth one? It was... Oh, Nadu. Like a recently printed card that was way too powerful for the format that it was, like, supposed to be good in. And they were like, well, it wasn't strong enough for Commander, so we made it too good to be played in every other format. All four of those cards just got banned in Commander, kind of out of the blue. People, as far as I know, I don't think people were even expecting a ban announcement from the committee who oversees those things. It's historically been very rare for them to make those announcements at all. But people have gone insane, like, harassing people even, like, remotely related to this decision. Like, even, like, tangentially, like, 3 steps removed related from this decision. People are coming out in, like, droves to be, like, highly vitriolic about this thing. And the crux of the argument seems, to me, to be that, like, a lot of casual Magic players spent more money than they could afford on valuable cards and are mad that now that they're banned, they aren't valuable anymore. And to that, I'm not entirely unsympathetic, but, like, I've been in a position plenty of times where I've had valuable cards that get reprinted and then get devalued. A few years ago, I even talked about on stream how, as a treat, I bought myself a really special version of what is their actual name? The 3-mana Liliana Planeswalker that was, like, really big in, like, Modern for a while. I had, like, a Commander deck that kind of wanted her for fun, even though she's not great in it. And they had, like, a really cool extended art version of it that looked really nice. So, like, I spent some of my money from one of those, like, stimulus checks during the pandemic to buy it as, like, a mental health treat. Very sensible retail therapy. And then, like a few months later, they printed it in, like, Dominaria Reunited or whatever. And the special version, like, lost an absolute ton of value. And even then, I was like, I feel kind of silly. So anyway... but like, oh my god, like the like a bunch of people who had like positions of like relative authority to like try and like communicate between like the magic community at large and like the people who make those decisions are like resigning in like mass because of how awful people have been about spending too much money on cards they couldn't afford. Like, I just don't get it. Because says, Vasco, if I give you money, would you consider finding the latest deluxe Jazzwares Pokemon Advent Calendar from Target and sending it my way? Maybe? That might be an expensive endeavor. We could discuss that on Discord. I should get back to not making very much progress in this game. I'm definitely sympathetic to your plight, but also, shipping stuff internationally is a suck, as we both know. So, we learned about... Yeah, we can try... I did, Marty... What's his face? Well, I'm gonna scroll. Demolition had a good suggestion. What was that last name they gave us? I guess it's in my notebook now, right? Some like Steve from Blue's Clues. John Goldwater. So we can try looking up Martin Goldwater and see if that gets a hit instead. But I don't think this game does that sort of thing. I could be mistaken. Yeah, okay. We're checking. Also worth coming back here. Yeah, one of the perks of being in the US is weird promotional stuff coming to the US quite frequently. I just randomly found out that there's like a pop-up like One Piece cafe in Las Vegas, some weird place. So wait a minute, this is a Jazzwares Pokemon Advent Calendar? I know I should know that name. Deluxe Advent Calendars are so much fun because they have pop-up displays with light and music. I mean, Advent Calendars in general are pretty fun. Like all things, though, the general reviews for the Lego Advent Calendars, which I've been enjoying for many years, have like gradually gotten like more and more jaded. People become like really cynical. They're like, oh good, another like 3-day model of like basically a single build. It's like, well, you know, I want to say they're being too harsh, but like, what's the one I got last year that was like kind of medium? Oh, it was like pretty cool. There was a Lego Marvel Advent Calendar last year that had like Christmas sweater Guardians of the Galaxy and some cool stuff, but like they also had like a bunch of days of like basically just like accessories and nothing, and it's like, that's not really a build. It's like a build Lego calendar. How do I not have an address for the place I just found out about? Am I supposed to go ask, well, I don't know. I guess we could go ask Marty about his dead kid. I'm sure he'll love that when he wouldn't even tell me what was written on his mug.
Hi. Are you Marty Goldwater?
Yeah, who are you?
Rosangela Blackwell.
What do you want?
Your son. I heard what happened.
You knew my boy?
No, but I'm looking into it.
You with the police?
No, but I'm sort of freelance.
But you can't do any worse than those worthless cops have. So sure, be whatever you want.
So, dead son. What's that like?
How exactly was he killed? The newspaper didn't say.
His neck was crushed.
They said he was choked, but there were no bruises on his neck.
I never heard of anything like it.
Crushed.
Yeah.
Do you have
It's just a little crush.
It was his rival company that did it. Lazarus Technology. They did it, but I can't prove it.
Lazarus Technology. Said a rival company might have had Martin killed. Do they have something to do with the company that's increasingly likely to be evil?
Why do you think this other company is involved?
Look, my boy was a genius. He ran a medical technology firm not far from here as one of their chief researchers. He was making a device that can improve the efficiency of pacemakers. A real breakthrough, he said. But this other firm, Lazarus, was working on the same thing. It was a real race to see who'd finish it first. He didn't eat, he hardly slept, he poured his life into his work. Then one night he called me to say he had finished. He wanted to celebrate. That was the last time I talked to him.
He was killed that night?
Yes, and a few days later the device was...
This guy sounds like a character bit that, like, Fred Armisen is doing or something. Justice for none. Phoenix Wright would be displeased. What do you know about the Meltzer Foundation?
Have you ever heard of the Meltzer Foundation?
No, I haven't.
What can you tell me about Joe Gould or the Joe Gould Fund?
Have you ever heard of a man named Joe Gould?
You mean Professor Seagull?
You've heard of him.
Sure I did. Back in the day, you'd always see him wandering the West Village. Must have been, 50 years ago. I was a young man then. He called himself Professor Seagull. If you gave him $1, he'd recite poetry in seagull language.
For real?
Who knows? It was a laugh. New York was full of people like that in those days. Times sure have changed.
Now they strangle people to death, which I'm pretty sure was happening back then too, to be honest. Do you know anything about another guy who got choked to death?
Do you know anything about Frank Lyons, the actor?
The dead actor? Who isn't familiar with him these days? I saw the movie. Don't know what all the fuss was about.
What do you know about his executive producer, Monique Stallman?
You know Monique Stallman?
No.
What about the Park Gallery, where another person was strangled to death under suspicious circumstances?
Have you ever been to the Park Gallery?
No, I haven't.
How about a bar called the Minetta?
Have you ever been to a bar downtown called the Minetta?
The Minetta? Is that place still around? Oh, I haven't been there for years.
So you know it.
I used to go there years ago.
So this guy has some meaningful connection to Joe Gould that we care about? What about Joseph Mitchell? He was also kind of associated with that place, wasn't he?
Have you ever heard of Joseph Mitchell?
Didn't he used to write for the New Yorker?
Yes.
Not for 30 years he didn't.
I've read some of his work, but it's so long ago I can't remember.
Guess we'll go Google Lazarus technology. The hitbox for leaving is so weird.
Here we go. Lazarus Technology.
Lazarus was established to review and research various health issues, conditions, diseases, and use technology to address them. How generic. For information, contact us at 1-800-555-4554. Wow. Phone number in this game. Not just like an address that we casually walk up to off the street.
Thank you for calling Lazarus Technologies. Please choose from the following options. For general information about Lazarus Technologies, press 1. To inquire about our products, press 2. To speak to an operator, press 3.
Oh my god, they're actually gonna have me do a phone tree. This is criminal. This is cruel and unusual punishment for me, a guy who professionally ends up doing this all the time. Eka says, I had a look at this year's LEGO advent calendars. Oh god, that should be out, shouldn't it? Oh jeez. Spider-Man 1 comes with a random LEGO hot dog stand mini build, and Venom looks really excited to buy hot dogs. That does sound pretty good. Not gonna lie. Well, you know what I end up doing at work a lot of? Exploring all of these options to figure out which one of them is actually relevant to me, because they're not necessarily labeled in a way that is directly useful to my job. Probably start with general information. Products is least likely to be useful.
Lazarus Technologies is the world's leader in biomedical and biomechanical engineering. We supply research and development to hospitals and clinics throughout the world. Lazarus Technologies is supported by a generous grant from the Meltzer Foundation.
There it is. I think I needed that. And that makes perfect sense. Hey, you know what's really annoying about the phone tree for the California DMV? And I know you don't. This is a hypothetical question, so I can complain some more. Is that you have to navigate through like 4 or 5 steps, like just as like a cursory introduction to like connect to someone, and then like it has this long introduction. It's like, hello, I am the artificial intelligence known as Miles, and I can like text you crap if you want, but like ask me for more information. And like if you ask for information, it will like literally just tell you like the basic definition of thing relating to your car or whatever, or just like something that you could like find with a cursory search on their website. But you have to go through like 7 extra steps to actually like even begin to like phone tree something. It's like, why is this set up this way? It's so annoying. Woman sounds European. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this game was made in Europe. I haven't bothered to look it up, but I feel confident based on a few critical details. Troubleshoot part of a phone tree when it stopped working for no apparent reason, but only on a specific branch. God, I tell you, no one does that stuff. I'm shocked to hear that someone has attempted to do that, because so often like phone tree stuff like breaks, and even when I like tell people about it, it never gets fixed. I guess we could try talking to an operator.
The general office mailbox.
Yeah, that's familiar too. Oh, that's too real. I can't leave a voicemail? Rough.
If you would like to request a product catalog, please speak to a customer representative.
Of course you can't do that, because you'll end up in the general. It's fine. Now I know that I can go talk to the Meltzer Foundation.
I'm ready if you are.
About another mysterious death that I still can't prove anything about. And then maybe I can leverage that into finding the insulting nickname for Charles Meltzer. Waddle waddle.
Go right in.
Hi, Paul.
Hi again. What can we do you for?
I'm surprised these people would still give me the time of day after I like openly accused them of murder. Which is just another one of those reasons why I'm like, hey, maybe don't like openly accuse people of murder without evidence. So it turns out that Lazarus Technology is responsible for a mysterious death and you pay the money.
I heard that your foundation gave money to Lazarus Technologies.
Oh, yes. That was one of our first success stories.
That's incriminating in a way that you may or may not appreciate.
Have you ever heard of a guy named John Goldwater?
No, sorry.
Ocean says, on another note, massive room with a great view, and they share an office? Well, yeah, because it's their whole company is here. You want to spend money on a wall? At the last job I worked in Hollywood at our first office, we had like I wouldn't say we had like a particularly nice view or anything, but we had like kind of a modest downtown Hollywood office space. And at a certain point, like the interest in our business took a dip, and so he started a second business and then built a wall and split the office in half, and like had us working in like a little closet and them working in a slightly larger than closet. It was very peculiar. It was the sort of thing that would only happen with that boss, who was a natural-born Australian who came over here to do weird business things and then eventually returned to Australia. Like some sort of Australian tuxedo mask, but for business. At a certain point, and I just got a reminder of this on my phone, the first business that he tried to start before the really shady one that I still don't think I want to talk about, is that he like bought a kind of like lightweight version of an airplane like a flight simulator, but like a full-scale flight simulator, the type that like I think pilots sometimes train on. And he like tried to make it like a commercial endeavor that you would come into this office business in this like subdivided already small office to a place that was basically just a flight simulator with a kitchen attached to it, to like have the experience of like flying a plane in a simulator. This business model did not make sense.
Have you ever...
What did he say? So he hasn't heard of that guy. He at least has plausible deniability. So what do I do with this information then? Do I have to talk to some, like, third party so that Rosa will be smart enough to link these things that are obviously connected? Ah, you know what? Maybe if we eavesdrop now that we've said that, he'll be like, how did she find out about John Goldwater?
I learned something interesting about Lazarus Technologies. It rose to success on the shoulders of a murdered man.
That's a strong thing to say.
It's true. His company was an inch away from beating Lazarus, but then he was killed.
Even if this is true.
It is true. You can look it up.
Even still.
Always a compelling argument.
This is our fault.
Let me break it down for you, Paul. Frank Lyons dies, and CubeStar Films becomes successful overnight. Claude Erdin commits suicide, and now the Park Gallery is selling priceless works of art. John Goldwater dies, and Lazarus Technologies becomes rich and powerful. All these
This is all circumstantial evidence.
Don't you see how this looks?
This is a total coincidence. I'm sure of it.
Is it?
It is.
It clearly has more to do with Charlie than Paul.
I think you should leave.
I am going
I like
to
that show.
the bottom of this.
Maybe you will.
We're all trying to find the guy who did this.
Now go, before I call the police.
Come on, let's blow and let him stew for a while.
Yeah, let's blow on his stew. That'll teach him. Is that what we're saying? I don't know.
Yeesh.
She's crazy.
Crazy with teeth.
Hmm.
You gotta watch out for women like that, Scooter.
Scooter!
You haven't called me that since we were kids.
Really? Maybe I should start calling you that again.
Whatever.
Stay put, kid.
I bet this eavesdrop is all the same dialogue because we just needed to get that Scooter trigger. Which is a thing I've never actually said in a Magic the Gathering game.
How's you look, Scooter?
I think we'll have to politely decline.
Oh my god.
Too bad.
Do you like how obnoxious they are? They're like, now he's just only gonna call him Scooter forever, so hopefully the player picks up on it.
Game of tennis after work today.
I don't think so, Paul.
Suit yourself. Why do you want to do that, Scooter?
In case she starts nosing around again.
If she noses around again, we'll call the police then, not before.
This
Scooter, do you have last week's earnings report?
this news is being delivered with fists of ham.
You did? Ah, right. Thanks, Scooter.
Hey, Scooter, 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 Scooter. It's like a pocket watch.
Research on that I think we'll have to.
Of course, at this point, I'm now forgetting if the name that we should enter for his email is Charles or Charlie. All I can think of is Scooter.
Just
Oh, wait a minute. It would be Charles, right? Because we have the emails from the other. Okay. So Charles M at bmail. Scooter.
Charles doesn't get a lot of emails, it seems. There's just a bunch of names in his inbox.
Oh my god, come on.
John Goldwater, Claude Erdin. Joey, look at this.
Incriminate at gmail.com.
So Charlie was writing about each of the victims. I knew there was something fishy about that place. Come on, let's go back there and talk to him.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to do.
Something, kid. History is repeating itself, and I don't... What was that?
It looks like his inbox is being updated.
It's us. Receiving email, it's us. Rosangela Blackwell. Yeah, we gonna die.
My name. That's my name.
That son of a... Mess with us, Willie.
He just marked me. I'm next.
Look, don't worry. She might not come right away. We have time to plan.
Oh, she came right away. Like, immediately.
You killed Claude. And the others.
I did not kill. I healed them.
Cannon, we've heard this...
I missed the spooky voice effect they gave her in the last game.
Real slow-like.
I only want to help.
I think we've had about enough of your help, lady. Back off, kid. I'm ready this time.
I have to help her. Just let me help her.
Oh, yeah? Help yourself to this.
Give me I need to save. I feel like something bad could happen. Scooter, scooter, scoot. Can I grab his tie? Let me make a phone call.
Damn it, it's not working. All this ghost activity must have shorted out something.
So I can't do a Google search either? And I can't watch the TV?
I don't know why I even bother keeping that. Remote controls don't work when Joey is around.
Okay, hang on. How do you like my business card?
Joey, are you alright?
Just peachy. Get out of here, will ya?
Get away from him.
Kid, she's here to kill you. I can handle her. Just make yourself scarce.
I'm pretty sure that's not how stuff works, but okay. Yeah, I kind of thought the bear plushie could do it. Trash room.
Where is she? She isn't far. I can sense her.
You think I'm telling you?
Where?
Well, I know for sure she's not through that door behind you.
I have no idea.
I don't think I know what to do.
No place to go. I can't run away unless Joey comes with me, and Joey's the only thing holding her back. Come on, Rosa. Auntie did it 30 years ago, so can you.
Well, she only had to kill a mortal person.
So, Griff, what's up? What exciting adventures are you having?
Are you feeling all right?
I don't know. Let's ask Griff, shall we? So, Griff, how do I look to you? Thanks, Griff. That's very sweet of you.
So what did he say?
Teddy bears can't talk, Joey.
There's so much. I love not only did we not update that reaction at all for the current dramatic incident, but also that, like, the whole tone of that conversation is so, like, wildly inappropriate. And yes, also the face. Hey, Critchbridge, welcome to the stream. Hey, look, it's Auntie Lauren's picture.
I wish you were here, Auntie. I really do.
That's far enough, sister.
Oh, wait, can we channel her?
Leave it. Like hell.
Auntie's picture. I'll hang it back later.
Show it to her.
Hey, look at this.
It looks like she's making the face.
I wanted to help her.
And look where it got you. You think anyone appreciates your help?
No.
This game is all about negging ghosts. Oh. Okay, well. That's weird. She didn't touch his tie or nothing. Oh man, we missed the animation of her thudding, like, haplessly to the ground.
How did we end up here?
I have brought you here. You are safe now. I have saved you.
Saved me?
Cool, you're the ghost.
Saved me. What did you do? Joey, did she kill me? Am I dead?
I don't know. Lady, I suggest you start talking.
There is nothing to say. You are safe now, both of you.
My dear, you carry on so.
You. It's you. I've been looking for you for so long. Why did you leave me?
My poor host, you cast me out. You broke our bond. It's too late to repair it.
What? No. Why would I do that?
Your mind is so broken that you do not remember. My, you are a mess. You don't even know your own name, Countess, indeed. Regardless, it is time for this to end.
End? Is there an
Ghost
end?
karate.
For you, there can be, if you let me.
I trust you, Madeline. I always will trust you.
Rosangela Blackwell, Joseph Malone, it is a pleasure to finally meet you. I'm sorry it had to be under such unpleasant circumstances.
Unpleasant is right. Who are you?
My name is Madeline, and a long time ago, I was this poor soul's spirit guide. She
Answers maybe.
Our bond, and I'm afraid the damage to both of us was quite severe. Can you help us? Can you help us end this cycle of death?
I attempted to forget the pain that I felt in a dream, but I vaguely remember
I
you.
know you.
I have been trying to reach you in your dreams. At long last, I am able to
That's not
manifest
true.
myself here, but time is short. Will you help us?
She's not been trying to reach us in our dreams. She keeps trying to, like, make us double unconscious so that we can't talk to her. Ask some questions?
We've got some questions first.
Yes, I'm sure you do, but time is short. Will you help us?
Who are you?
As I said, my name is Madeline, and along
Did you
time
actually
ago,
say that?
I was a spirit guide to the woman you know as the Countess. We were bonded, much like you and your guide are, but much has changed, and time is short. Will you help us?
Yes, I'll help you. I don't have much choice. She's
I don't, because I used all the other choices.
No, she left you quite unharmed. But regardless, there is no time to waste. Come with me. Now just relax.
Hey, what's the big idea?
Yoink!
All right, you. Talk. Where are they?
The pattern. They're going to fix the pattern.
Talk sense, will ya?
The source. Cut off the source and the pattern will revert.
Why do I bother? Great. Trapped on another plane of existence with the Countess of Crazyville. They better know what they're doing.
Nah. It's a diner?
Hey, what happened? How did you do that?
This is where the link originates.
Link?
The bond between your Countess and her hosts. Part of her is trapped here. You must remove it.
Nah, we winging this as we go. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we're doing.
Madeline, could I talk to you?
Time is short. What up?
Where are we?
You have been to this plane before. You have brought many lost spirits through here.
Well, yes, but there was never a diner before.
Now I can get ghost fries.
But it is not a real diner. It is metaphorical. As you know, there is a bond between the Countess and her current host, and the bond is represented by this diner. You will find out more inside.
What a thing to say. The bond is represented by this diner. The meaning of the milkshake is lost on me. Why a diner?
Why is it represented by a diner?
The Countess used to spend lots of time in diners like these. You will find out more inside.
Breaking the
This
bond.
How do I break it?
Part of the
Ghost
Countess
karate.
is trapped inside. You must find it and remove it.
With your ghost karate. How did the bond
How
break?
did the Countess break the bond between you?
She did not break the bond, but moved it. To be rid of me, she had to form a bond with someone living. Someone who could, in essence, become her guide. How she acquired this knowledge, I do not know. I only know that it was accomplished. Who did
See,
she
you
have?
say that like it makes sense, but it doesn't.
It was an easy task, since his mind was already broken. Upon Gould's death, it was passed on to Joseph Mitchell.
Why?
Now Charlie Meltzer.
Yes, it must be broken if this is to end.
Hang on. Somehow your explanation raises, like, way more questions than it answers. She's like, in order to rid herself of a ghost, she didn't have to exorcise the ghost. She had to create a bond with a living human, even though she herself was still alive. So instead of her making a bond with another ghost, she had to make a mortal-to-mortal bond, with no explanation of what that is or how it could happen. And then to, like, compound how ridiculous that sounds, we're like, okay, and then when Joe Gould died, he passed that on to, like, another random unconnected mortal, and then that happened a second time, right? Do you think Sapphire Steeler in there? Yes, I do think very strongly that that is likely. Is the Countess
The
insane?
Countess gets so...
Insane?
Yes.
In the
Like you,
membrane?
her mind is a door to another plane of existence. By corrupting our bond, she opened that door so wide that it flooded her mind with unfathomable knowledge. She essentially
You're taking
made
some
universe
powerful liberties
whole,
here.
and no human mind can contain that. It broke her. She sees everything but understands nothing. If she didn't banish me to this place,
Sees everything but understands nothing sounds like me. I'm kind of hoping that when we get in there, we're going to get like a plate of chicken tenders, and it's like, of course, to break the bond, you must consume these ghostly chicken tenders. And I'll be like, I was born for this. Who'd that
Did you know
be?
her when she was alive?
Of course. We spent almost 30 years together.
What was she like?
Different.
She sucked.
She loved helping those in need, but it no longer matters. She is the one who needs help now.
This genuinely overall has generated far more questions than it's answered.
This bond, how do I break it?
Part of the Countess is true.
Okay, I can just ask that indefinitely.
Thanks, Madeline.
I will be waiting right here.
It is a short stack of the soul.
I have no money for your fund.
Show some pity. At least lend us a cigarette.
Ahem. I believe we got company.
Ah.
That face.
Could you perhaps spare a few dollars for the Joe Gould Fund?
I know that if I give him $1, then he'll sing like a seagull. Do I have $1 in my inventory? No, I'm poor.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Joseph Ferdinand Gould. I am graduate of Harvard magna cum difficultate and chairman of the board of Wheel and Woe Incorporated. In exchange for a drink, I'll recite a poem, deliver a lecture, argue a point, or take off my shoes and imitate a seagull.
Now that I'd like to see. Just kidding, I have no interest in that.
I've been hearing a lot about you lately.
My reputation precedes me.
It's all bad.
I saw your portrait in the Minetta.
The Minetta. Yes. I'm quite famous there, you know.
I gathered.
It's all thanks to Mitchell, of course. The Joe Gould Fund filled its coffers nicely when he wrote his article.
I struggle to... It feels like that shouldn't be possible to be true. I'm pretty sure someone said that already, but like... Wasn't Joe Gould around like a really long time ago? Whereas like something like 50 years? Whereas like Joe Mitchell was around like 30 some odd years ago? Like it just feels like they don't overlap in a way where it seems like that time frame works particularly well.
What are you doing here?
I don't quite know myself. We've all got to be someplace. As I understand it, I was mentally linked to my old friend, the Countess. I wish I'd known. It explains everything that my work was trying to prove.
What? No, tell me about the work.
I have had many callings. I studied the seagulls of the world and learned their language. I spent months measuring the heads of 1,000 Chippewa Indians. But before I died, I was putting to paper the most important literary work known to man, the oral history of our time. It was a compilation of the conversations of the city, overheard in bars, subways, street corners, and diners. Put together and studied properly, it would have revolutionized everything.
This will explain everything.
How would it have revolutionized everything?
We were all connected, every single one of us. But how? Think of the ramifications if we found out.
It sounds like quite an undertaking.
It was my life's work.
So you were friends... So hang on. She called herself the Countess before she went crazy? Or you became friends with her after she went crazy? The time frame is getting complicated.
How did you know the Countess?
We met in a diner like this one. We'd often spend a week or two walking along the docks to discuss seagulls. She had many interesting theories on seagull linguistics. Then, one day, she disappeared. But a link had already formed between us. It's everything my oral history was trying to prove, that we were all linked.
But if we were all linked, wouldn't there be like a lot more ghosts in this stupid metaphorical diner? He's taking the whole mentally linked to a dead murdering ghost lady strangely well.
The Countess is killing people.
Murder? No. No, I refuse to believe that. She couldn't hurt a fly.
But she could like super duper strangle a guy to death and like throw him off a fire escape. I promise.
Why is she called the Countess?
That's what she chooses to call herself. Far be it for me to tell her otherwise.
The name doesn't seem strange to you?
When you lived a life like mine, you take people...
I learned the language of seagulls. Does anything seem strange to me?
I once knew another fellow without a name. Called himself the Deacon.
What is this guy's friggin' deal? This guy doesn't make any sense. How does he know the Deacon?
The Deacon? You knew the Deacon?
Oh yes, he was this gloomy career drunk. One summer night while sitting in a doorway of the Bowery, he caught the scent of sulfur.
It was a fart.
Looked up and saw the devil himself standing over him. Since that night he believed he lost his soul. Not the
He did. We failed to save him.
companion, if I may say so.
No, he wouldn't be.
You knew him?
Sort of.
Fancy that.
What's your connection to Joseph Mitchell?
He's standing right behind me, isn't he?
My benefactor. He made me quite famous, you know. But my goodwill only extends so far.
Why's that?
A cigarette. He has them. He won't give me one. It's demeaning to have to beg for one measly cigarette.
You're like super dead, my guy. People have rarely been as dead as you are.
Want a cigarette?
Yes, I want a cigarette. It's a disgrace that I should have to beg for one.
You want a cigarette?
Yes, I want it.
Okay, I can do that indefinitely, so I'm clearly getting this man a
I'd
cigarette.
like to read the oral history.
That's not... okay.
But I'm afraid it belongs to the ages now.
There was also the problem of it never existing in the first place.
Of course it existed, only not on paper. It was over 3 million words, 3 times the size of the Holy Bible. The work transcended mere parchment and ink.
What about those essays you published in the Dial?
A passing fancy, nothing more.
You wrote essays?
For the now defunct Dial magazine. I still have the originals.
Was it funded by the soap? Yeah, show me your essay since I can't Google anything.
See that essay.
Here you go.
It appears to
Are
be
you
an essay
joking?
about insanity, but the handwriting is so awful I can barely make it out. Just as well. I don't have time to read all this stuff.
Why am I even allowed to have this? Ooh,
I think
paperclip.
you'll miss this.
Sucker. He's down one paperclip. And he still didn't get his cigarette. What a fool. What a maroon.
This handwriting makes my eyes water, but I think it's an essay about insanity. I don't think it's important.
I hope not, but I got a paperclip.
There
Idiot.
you go.
Always glad to share.
Does this mean paperclips have a soul and pass on to spirit diners? The diner's a metaphor for something. And the chicken tenders are like chicken soup, but for the soul. Because it's ghost chicken tenders. Do you understand? The sheep is not a metaphor.
Hello. You're Joseph Mitchell, aren't you?
I believe you have the better of me, Miss...
Blackwell. Rosangela Blackwell.
Blackwell, huh? I might have known.
You met my auntie.
Your auntie, yes. I do see a slight resemblance. I did warn her to leave well enough alone, but she was determined. Let's hope that you can do some good here.
What are you doing here?
We are echoes, leftovers.
Sort of floating. I don't have any
We were
legs.
linked to the Countess when we were alive. When we died, part of ourselves got trapped here.
So you're not a ghost?
Not fully. I'm not sure what I am. I remember living...
But I don't have a
and
neck,
dying,
that's for sure.
But I don't feel like Joseph Mitchell. All I know is that when I thought of death, an eternity with Joe Gould was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, no one should have to endure that.
What is your connection to the Countess?
I don't know. I never met the woman. Joe Gould was the one who knew her. He had a special bond with her, apparently. But somehow, he passed it on to me when he died. Next thing I knew, I was...
Just
murdering
like
people by...
somehow Palpatine
No
returned.
choice. I had to stop writing.
I studied some of your work in journalism school.
Now that's just foolish.
That's
I was a
really
rebel
annoying.
before I died. The city I wrote about has long since evolved and changed into something completely different. But that's New York City, isn't it? Wouldn't be New York if it stayed the same year to year.
I'm sorry you had to stop writing.
So am I. But what else could I do? Let innocent people die? No, I don't regret the choice I made. Not for one moment.
Nicholas says she wants the ghost cherry pie. Man, I got an ad for Arby's in the mail this week, and like they were like really prominently featured their like cherry turnover, and I'm like, I haven't had one of those in a really long time, and I don't remember it being especially good, and for some reason, I still want one. I was kind of thinking of getting one on Thursday, but there was sort of a hurricane, so I thought better of it.
Did you know Charles Meltzer?
Yes, I did. He worked at the New Yorker back in the late 70s. He would come into my office and ask about the old days, and I was happy to tell him. I knew he would never cut it as a reporter, but he had a very keen, analytical mind. I almost forgot all about him, but it appeared a link formed between us.
I need you to give me a better explanation of these links.
Countess passed on to him.
Like, what is causing them? It seems important and relevant.
Charles Meltzer is using the Countess to kill people.
By accident?
No, on purpose. He sent her after me.
Now, that's a shame. I'm aware that through my actions I killed a few people, but I could forgive myself for it, since I was unaware of what I was doing. But many times I thought to myself, I have a weapon. It's untraceable. Nobody knows.
It's like a death
I
note.
could use it, but I did not. I was tempted, but I did not. Not once. You have to stop.
I hadn't considered that it was basically a death note.
No more innocent should have to die.
I am aware of the Waffle House Index. Although I was reading somewhere this week that, like, it's more about the condition of the Waffle Houses after a disaster than it is about them during, because during a disaster, like, people are probably sheltering. I don't actually know if that's true, because I had sort of been of the understanding that, like, you know, the disaster itself is going to hit the area hard if it closes. I feel like someone had a wrong interpretation, and now I'm not sure which one it is. Waffle Houses built like bomb shelters or something. I don't know. I think it's something about, like, the simplicity of their menu means that, like, it's a really, like, hearty business, and so, like, it takes a lot to shut them down. I think it's something along those lines.
How do I break this link?
I wish I knew.
Is it like breaking the habit from Linkin Park?
How do I...
I'm afraid.
That was a misclick.
Why did you write about Joe Gould?
He's a fascinating man. Intolerable company, but fascinating. He
I sure know those
everything
folks.
about New York at the time. Its artistic expression, its frustration, its joy and heartbreak. His oral history, or the idea of it, energized the work of dozens of writers and intellectuals. But the more I got to know him, the less I wanted to be around him.
That also feels very familiar.
Did you ever read Joe Gould's oral history?
That, it never existed. Or if it did, Mr. Gould never shared it with anyone, which amounts to the same thing.
You know why I never wrote it down. People would have died.
You didn't stop telling people you were writing it, did you?
What could I say? The truth? They would have chucked me in a loony bin.
Why don't you give him a cigarette?
When you give that man a cigarette or a drink, he likes to talk. And the only subject Joe Gould likes to talk about, at length, is Joe Gould. And the only person for him to talk to is me. So...
This is all very relatable. I genuinely think the most relatable character in this entire franchise is Joseph Mitchell.
Would you give him a cigarette if I spoke to him for you?
I might. If you can get him away from me, I might. But we can't leave this diner. And the door to that kitchen is locked.
Luckily, I stole a paperclip.
Believe me, I've tried that. It doesn't work. Not here.
It's because the whole diner died.
Thanks for talking.
Okay, hold on. One of the only inventory puzzles we've had in this whole game is paperclip on door. Hobbitses.
Easy. What's that noise? That's weird. There's a strange glow coming from inside.
I bet there's a cherry turnover in there.
There's a strange... Hello? Is someone in there?
She comes.
Isn't this how Sylvia Plath died?
Who are you?
Part of a whole. Left behind. Safe here. Leave me.
What?
Are you the Countess?
Countess. One of my names. Yes. I no longer live, but part of me remains. Leave me.
You are like the creepiest thing I've ever seen in a video game. I kind of hate you, but you're amazing.
I need to take you out of here.
No. Safe here. Warm here. I stay in warm places. Too cold out there.
I don't know that I should take the light. Hold on.
I'm talking to an oven.
A sound idea. I'm sure it made more sense than most people I know. So this is the kitchen. Such a bare and emotionless place. Not even a bottle of ketchup.
It's super cursed in there.
Hello?
What if I... Oh, say... Take the light?
My hand goes right through it.
No. Too cold. I will survive here and save fire. Leave me.
Okay. Talk to you later. Let me go get a cigarette. And then, I don't know, get the light to transfer into the cigarette. And then, I don't know, eat it? I don't know what I'm doing here.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Gold's in another room.
Left the room.
I see. Thank you for that.
Have you reconsidered giving him a cigarette?
I suppose I have been a little hard on the man. Here. I don't smoke anymore anyway. Give him the whole pack.
Seeing as I'm dead, skull joke. I don't have any lungs.
The oven in the kitchen is talking.
Is it now?
This doesn't surprise you.
Miss, look where we are. I stopped being surprised ages ago.
Thanks for talking, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Do. Probably have to light this cigarette using the light.
I don't see what that will do.
Really?
I don't see.
Really?
There's a strange.
Really?
Mr. Gould.
She returns. Say, can you spare a few dollars for the Joe Gould Fund?
I will use my ghost karate on you.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I like that I can still ask him about the illegible
You want
essay.
a cigarette?
Yes, I want a cigarette. It's a disgrace that I should have to beg for one.
Hey, the oven's
Does something
talking.
about that oven look strange to you?
Nothing about my life has ever made sense. Why should an oven be...
Why is this guy a Gorgon, by the way? He's like for sure a Medusa.
I'll talk to you later.
Sure. Things to do, people to see, I understand.
So I just give him an unlit cigarette, the least likely of these.
Mitchell wanted you to have this.
Ah, nice contribution to the Joe Gould Fund.
He had a functional ghost lighter? Hey, could you stick your head in that oven? I know how this sounds, but you're already dead.
Hey, fair enough.
Liking your cigarette?
It's delightful. Here, feel free to join me.
Yeah, give me a light, sucker.
Thanks, but I don't smoke.
You might as well keep it. When a man is rich, he can afford to be generous.
Leave him.
Sure.
Okay, he did light the cigarette, so I can trap the light in the cigarette.
Is this warm enough?
Safety. The flame will carry me. Thank you.
Where do you need... Okay.
That sounds ominous.
Don't worry about it.
There's nothing in the oven now.
There's something really ominous about that observation, too. There's nothing in the oven now.
I can't explain it, but I have the feeling that my time in this place is ending.
I'm breaking the link. It'll all be over soon.
Over. Yes. I can't say that I ever understood any of this, but I do know one thing. Gould was right. We are connected. Every single person on the planet. It's a pattern so complex that we can't even begin to understand.
I would so totally love to explain to you what's going on, but it makes so little sense. Just assume that the evil whispers are the thing making this diner exist. Okay, I love you, bye-bye. The floor is getting a little outer spacey, to be honest with you. Didn't get any chicken tenders, what a rude day.
This place is starting to fade.
That's good, right? Once this place is
No,
gone,
you were supposed to establish a new diner.
This means something to you, the killing.
She killed someone right in front of me. I want to stop that from happening again.
Imagine that. Genuine heart. Your predecessor was not graced with such compassion.
Predecessor? Do you mean Lauren? My Aunt
Yes,
Lauren?
your Aunt Lauren kind of sucked and no one likes her.
Cease to be. Come.
Fly away! Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, no pancakes, no tendies, no coffee. Like, can you even call it a diner at the edge of forever?
I'm free!
Way to go, Red.
My head. I understand everything.
Everything?
I hurt people.
Yes.
I suddenly understand good and evil. I'm so screwed.
Gone. You can't do anything about it now. It's time for you to move on.
No. This should not have happened. He will not kill again.
Hey! It's about time you got back here. What did you guys do?
I did it, Joey. I
Took
broke
up
the
smoking.
Yeah, you broke it all right, and our friend just blew.
She did not enter the white light?
No.
Oh, that is a problem.
That is not what is supposed to
In
happen.
the world, with the power she has, who knows what damage she can cause.
Great, just great.
Why did we do this? Why are we always the bad guy?
But just leave the spook work to us, okay?
I have little choice in the matter. I am bound to this plane. What happens next is up to you.
Wait!
What about my chicken tendies?
Whoa. Little dizzy.
Careful, kid.
Waddle,
You've never
waddle.
been under for that long.
At least I'm alive.
Yeah, everything's peachy. There's a killer ghost on the loose, and it's our fault.
But we broke the link. She doesn't have to kill anymore.
You
Yeah,
wanna
now
tell
she's
her
just
that?
evil.
What'd she want to kill anyway?
I think she's going to kill Charlie Meltzer.
Oh, him. The guy who wants me dead.
Yeah.
Oh, alright, I'm gonna take a nap
Okay,
then.
We'll sort it out later. Let's get going.
I think I've bothered Griff enough for one day. He's old. He needs his rest.
What a good bear.
You coming?
Hold your horses, Will.
I have no idea what we plan to do when we get there. I don't even have a cigarette to my name. Oh, never mind. I have a magical glowing cigarette. I'm completely wrong. I have a total spooky ghost cigarette.
The door's open. This can't be good.
Nah, this seems fine.
Oh, no.
That guy looks very
Too
upset.
late.
You stay back.
I didn't do that.
Paul, what happened?
Charles, something took him. I've never seen anything like it.
A ghost?
The roof. She took him to the roof.
Let's go. There was a stairway down the hall.
Did Charles really kill people?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I get that.
I didn't know.
Give me one reason why I should spare you.
Please, I'm not a killer. I had no idea you were real.
I am as real as death.
I thought it was just wishful thinking.
And just what are you wishing for now?
I thought I got the Death Note. Have you ever seen that anime? It's pretty good.
Don't interfere. For over 50 years I've been a slave to false guides, but none have been more corrupt and pitiful than this one.
Haven't you killed enough?
No, I've come to really like killing now that I understand that it's evil.
He used it against you. You want to spare his life? I have killed countless innocents and my hands are stained with their blood. If I must kill, let it be one who deserves it. False guide, it is time
She made it rain.
No, please.
To answer your question, Nego, I don't think we have a satisfying answer to that, but it is consistent with the fact that the artist could also see her, but not Joey. So, like, she has some ability to make herself tangible that Joey does not possess. How about a smoke?
I think I found something of yours. What? What is that? It's a part of you, isn't it?
It was torn from me so long ago.
Here, take it.
I cannot.
There's a trophy for not letting Charlie die, I guess.
Hey, we've all changed, and sometimes we just have to accept it. Now, why don't you take a hold of this and we can finish it?
You are the most guilty of all.
What?
What?
You know what you did.
Hey, get off. What are you
Last
talking
summer?
about?
My death.
That was self-defense.
You must be held accountable.
Get lost, lady.
Now you've done it. You might have had it bad before, but now you're on my turf.
Something is different about you. You're wrong. Everything about you is wrong.
You don't know.
Women say that to me a lot, too. Oh, crap, she's got, like, special attacks and stuff.
I can't touch her. Think, Rosa. Think.
Give me the... How do you like my time, Mario?
Gotcha. Joey, not working.
Of course it's not. She's too strong for you. What do you think you're doing?
Trying to save your butt. I don't think you'd want that.
I don't... What can I do?
Gotcha again.
Back off, kid.
I definitely missed a trophy there. I genuinely have no concept of what it wants me to do. Cigarette on tie. I don't think the cigarette's ghostly anymore. I'm also not sure if this game works like that, but we could try it. This music is cool. I wish it gave me even like a vague sense of like what to be doing right now. Oh, no wait. I don't know what to do, but I think I know the next step. The fact that you like have to watch her do one you can't interact with is really
I don't know
annoying.
who you're dealing with. Get away from her. No, that's not
How is
what
that-
meant to happen. Wake up, Red. Damn it, wake up.
How is that the solution to that? Just punch her once and suddenly you win? And like, why doesn't he just do that automatically?
I remember.
Just head towards it.
I went through once, and I was dragged back. It hurt. It hurt so much.
The link brought you back, but it's gone now. You understand? You're free. You don't have to hurt anyone anymore.
What if Zelda was a girl, you know? We keep talking about the link, but what if Zelda was a girl?
Meltzer. He lives?
Yes. We stopped you before you could kill him.
Is that justice? I wonder. He is a murderer. He will find ways to kill again. But you are right. It is no longer my concern.
What do you mean?
Live your life. Help the lost spirits of the world. Let nothing deter you. This work is more important than you will ever know. Goodbye, and good luck.
That Saxto.
Wake up, will ya? Wake up!
Dave Gilbert really likes these like collapsed people sprites.
I'm not. Get up or I'll kill you, you hear? Thank God. You okay?
Fine. She's gone.
Gone? You sure?
Yeah, she went through the light. She's gone.
I mean, she did literally just tell us that when she came back from the light.
What the hell were you thinking? I thought you were... Never mind what I thought. That was really stupid.
Yeah, stupid. I only saved your life.
I don't have a life to save. You only risked your own.
Joey, I'm soaking wet. And Charles needs an ambulance. If I'm getting a lecture, I'll listen to it at home.
This isn't over. No, this is crazy.
It's the only way.
Why change what isn't broken?
But it is. We can't keep blundering around like we have.
We stopped a killer ghost today. I wouldn't call that blundering.
I would. It was pretty embarrassing.
We just happened to run into her while doing something else.
So?
So think of what we could accomplish if people knew about us.
Oh
People should
dear.
seek us out, not the other
Who
way
you gonna
around.
call?
What do you want to do? Put up a billboard?
Rosa
in Times
Blackwell?
Square?
No, we've got a special place nowadays. A place where you can talk about all sorts of crazy things and it's accepted as normal.
A bar named Cheers?
Internet.
What, that computer box? No way.
Look, I've trusted you so far, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Then trust me. Just this once.
If we end up in a padded room, I'm going to make your life a living hell. You know that.
Already did, buddy.
Sure.
Already
Come
did.
on, pull up a chair. I'll show you what I have in mind.
Then she just shows him porn for like several hours. And that's the next game in the series. Ghostman still sucks. He's not great. He has not demonstrated a tremendous amount of character growth, and he didn't start in a very good place. This actually sounds like it could be the closing theme to an anime. Saxophone played by Chris Gievdaw. That is quite the name. But there you go, everyone, for your saxophone needs. I mean, I will say, I don't think that the second half of that game was as strong as the start. I appreciate that the Blackwell games are trying to tell, like, a coherent through-line story that connects multiple lives and eras and stuff, but, like, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it just feels kind of, like, sloppy. Like, the time frame's not, like, super clear to me of, like, when things happen, and then when we get around to the details that, like, I'm kind of excited to learn stuff about, of, like, oh man, like, when and how did she become connected? Like, what did she do to, like, divorce herself from her original spirit guide? And, like, how did that cause her to spiral into becoming the Countess? And, like, all those answers are sort of like, somehow Palpatine returned. I'm like, no, like, that's the interesting stuff. Please give me the details of that. I like, don't need to know all the nitty-gritty about Joe Gould and the book he technically didn't write or whatever. Main downside of this game is it needs the previous game to work, and the last one was so bad. actually don't know that I quite agree with that. I mean, I think it makes a lot more sense if you played the previous game, but honestly, in a weird, like, backhanded compliment, like, the last game was so bad at telling its story that I don't think you actually miss out on all that much comparatively by just going off of what this game tells you about it. I think part of the problem is that it's not told in chronological order. I mean, to some extent I agree with that anime. Of like, I don't know if there's any more like time hopping to be done in, I think there's 2 more in the series. So like, I don't know if we like visit another era. I kind of feel like we might just be Rosa from this point forward. But like, I definitely don't think it did us any favors to like sort of loosely establish a time frame in the first game in like a Myst style book that you just manually read to yourself. That had an awful lot to do about Thanksgiving. And then to like unceremoniously hop into what so far I definitely think is like the weakest game in the series, and like not establish like clear facts, and then like make those vague facts like essential to the story they're trying to tell. Wait, you think we continue to learn more about the Countess? I mean, to be clear, the second game deals with the Countess, but like is very deliberate in not telling you much about her.
Trapped between worlds. The others could not help me. Perhaps this new one will. She is just beginning to come into her power. I just hope she is strong.
I hope she is fresh enough for the task that comes. I am concerned that she may not be fresh. Oh, right, it just immediately closes. I was all intent to, real quick, see if we could get a trophy for killing that guy just to make Neko happy, but also this time I actually bothered to save in such a way that I could do that, whereas I did not with the first game, and thus, canonically, that guy got eaten by the devil. I, too, am concerned that I am not fresh enough for the task ahead. Made it rain with a good capitalization typo. I have, like, a real nasty habit of, capitalizing an A as the second letter in a word if the first letter is capitalized. I don't know if there's a name for that psychological disorder, but I have it bad.
No time to chat.
Hey, Chuck, how's it going? I'm sorry, I mean Scooter.
You better be worth it. It is done.
You better be worth it. He's dead now, super dead.
The spirit has moved on. It's less than it deserves.
All right, it's done. You did what you had to do. Now, why don't you take a hold of this and we can finish it?
You are the most guilty of all.
What?
What? You know what you did.
Hey, get off. What are you talking about?
It does annoy me that she's so mad about him killing her now that she supposedly understands, like, the gravity of what she did.
Now you've done it. You might have had it bad before, but now you're on my turf.
Something is different if you're wrong.
He's, like, so weirdly smug considering that in the ghost world, he's kind of just like a guy. He's just sort of like a dude. Come on, do this stupid thing. I just want to see if it will still give me this trophy if I do this now.
Gotcha. Shall we?
Of course it's
trying.
Get away from her.
Because I assume there's a trophy for doing that. There it is.
Wake up, Red. Damn it, wake up.
Get her with one throw of the improvised lasso.
This place, the light, I remember.
Alright, at this point I think everything is probably going to be the same. I can't go back into the menu to fix it, because that's not how the game works. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the first game makes it clear that they will let you have good and bad endings. It is subjective which one is good and bad, though. She might comment on the murdering. Yeah, I mean, that's like one extra line of dialogue that I'm frankly too lazy to fish for this late on a Friday. It's been an eventful week. And I had to get up early multiple times this week for the same singular appointment that only happened today, which isn't my favorite, but alas, earwax. So yeah, I do... Overall, I definitely still like Blackwell Convergence. I do kind of feel like the second half of that game... There's just something about the lore. It's not that, like, it's bad. It's just that I kind of feel like it's not thought out to the extent that makes me, like, satisfied with it. Does that make sense? Like, it's genuinely not that I think, like, oh, like, all this counter stuff is, like, boring or stupid or anything. Like, generally, I like the ideas. It's just that every time it comes down to, like, the details that I think would make it, like, an interesting and unique ghost story, we kind of just, like, gloss over those. And it's like, oh, to me, that's just so important to, like, making it feel, like, fleshed out, like, a fully realized, like, fictional world. So, like, it's not that it's bad at all. It's just that, like, it manages to, like, consistently disappoint when we get into those things that feel like they might finally, like, reach that next level. But I still feel like overall Blackwell Convergence is, like, a big step up from both of the first two games, particularly the second one, which I really didn't love. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say. I mean, I appreciate things like it's a relatively early example of, like, open-ended story in adventure games, because even when there was a resurgence of those games, it was not very common to have that type of input. They're traditionally a very linear kind of game, and it's rare to have multiple endings, and, you know, that's like a precursor for some of the choices mattering in Unavowed, although, you know, your mileage may vary on exactly how important some of those are. But yeah, I was very excited to play that. There's a lot of strengths there, saxophone among them. But I did enjoy Blackwell Convergence a good amount, and tomorrow we'll pick up with Blackwell Deception. I don't know. To be honest, I've been a little bit lazy about trying to pick out more specific Halloween stuff. I've been really going through it, but we're making some progress. We really made some progress today, but it's left me a little exhausted. So I don't know that I'm gonna have time to set something up other than the Blackwell games, which mostly require me to angrily jam F2 and F3 until it's not so loud that my ears are bleeding. But hopefully you're looking forward to seeing how much or how little the Blackwell series improves as we continue to play through them. But for now, I'm gonna sort of push to end the stream in a moderate hurry, just because I am feeling a bit tired. And as Neko has pointed out, the best way to do that is for you all to try and locate the secret Squirtle, because somewhere behind me are hidden some number of secret Squirtles. Keeping in mind that if you can clearly see a Squirtle, that's not a secret. Then I encourage you to sort of consider where, behind or under, or some other prepositional phrase, you may find a Squirtle located among these various wonderful creatures. And I have just completed my 100% juice apple, and must summarily run the dishwasher again quite soon. God, my nails grow so fast. What's up with that? What's up with nails? Am I good at stand-up comedy? Well, I'll give another moment and see if anyone other than Neko is interested in finding the Squirtle, which they should be, because, of course, locating a secret Squirtle is an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. And if your life is anything like mine, experiencing the fringe edge of a Category 4 hurricane and then having a fairly long day after many weeks of contractor and DMV related misery, you could perhaps maybe use something like that. All right, we got some good guesses. Jigglypuff, Eva. Yeah, feel free to check out the Vibe Fruits, which I went on a pretty deep dive about my experience with the California DMV at that range, and let me tell you, their web services are not very good, and if you are 3,000 miles away from them, you don't have very many other options other than to just literally mail them paperwork and hope it's good, which to me is a pretty bad solution. So it is taking quite a lot of work to get to where I am, which is barely anywhere. Now, I think it's actually really interesting that Devotion specifically says Wally and or Eve, because on this particular occasion, it turns out to be the case that there is a Squirtle lounging particularly behind both Wally and Eve, which isn't always necessarily the case. Now, Neko was quick to jump on a guess of this Jigglypuff over here, just peeking up above this big bread. Perhaps that may be helping to conceal a Squirtle. And, well, this might take a moment, but we got Mew, we got Sandshrew, we got Vulpix and Eevee, Clefairy and Jigglypuff. And all together, they're concealing Big Squirtle. He's so big. He's literally bigger than a Squirtle would be if it was alive. Monument to vanity, this Squirtle. No one stopped to ask if they should make a Squirtle so big that God himself could not lift it, but they did anyway nonetheless. Yeah, I think that will do it for the stream. I hope you are enjoying the Blackwell games. The second one was genuinely on the frustrating end to play, but even with the shortcomings of the first one and even this one as well, I've largely been enjoying this experience. I do really think that Blackwell Unbound is pretty rough, though. But I hope you're enjoying that. Also, mark your calendars for October 12th. We've got a big special stream coming up. I'm not quite yet ready to announce the details in full, but we're doing something special, and it's Halloween related, and we're doing it a little bit early because I think trying to run that as the close to Halloween special will somehow tempt fate to cause it to technologically be an issue, because it is a technologically challenging thing that we will be trying to do. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. Whether that's tomorrow night for Blackwell Deception, October 12th for the big special secret stream, or sometime in the future. Remember to take care of yourselves, and that you are Clawsome.